We call this place the most brilliant all-around circuit that motorsport has to offer. It doesn't matter if you're down with the itty-bitty cars that begin on out. It doesn't matter if you bring the fun cups over here. It doesn't matter if it's tin top. Doesn't matter if it's open wheel. Every time you come here, you get a great race, and that is the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps way. A circuit that was a street circuit all the way up until 2007. We are now in for a real treat's worth of action at what is nearing the halfway stage of this championship. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are watching around the world. My name's Jake Sperry here. My Instagram is Mr_Sperry, and you can catch all of the amazing action that comes here with Creator Series as Josh Richards is here along with me for the ride here today. Josh, what about your Instagram handles or your social media handles? Where can we find you?
Yeah, mine is, I believe, _J.Richards24, if my memory serves me correctly. You can find some commentary reels over there as well.
So, let's get ourselves set in what makes this circuit tick. 7 kilometers and 4 meters of a track in the Belgian Ardennes that is a stone's throw away from the route of Liège-Bastogne-Liège, the great cycling classic that goes through, because we are, of course, in Tour de France season at this moment in time. But, Josh, a circuit that demands respect. Normally, we talk about corners, and it's 1 or 2 corners send the shiver down your spine. Here, it's almost every one.
Yeah, I mean, the elevation change, so many high-speed corners, so many corners you have to be so precise as well. There's gravel and there's grass and there's barriers on the outside. One small mistake, as we've seen in the real-life racing already over the past few days, can end in disaster.
It very much can. Now, last time out, it was a case of who is going to stand up and say, I am the one who can go ahead of anything else. And for the second time this season, his 4th podium, Tiamat Marduk proving that he is top dog and he is going to make life very difficult for everybody around, picking up all the important points available. He also looks at Meraki there in second, and Tom97, who has been on a part-time schedule, we have to call him Mr. Third Place, because that's 3 third places in a row that he's been able to pick up down there with Lolinoba 4th, and Alex Gillen there in 5th as nearest challenger in the championship. A critical change out there between them, Josh, because now the gap is 11 points in the championship, which was not what the doctor ordered for Alex Gillen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small gap, but that gap can be crucial, especially come the end of the season. That's the difference between about a 1st place and a 5th or 6th place finish. So having that margin, if you can continue that momentum throughout the season as well. He's been on some strong form, 2 P2s and a P1 in the last 3 races. If he can carry that through, he's going to be looking very strong for this championship.
He absolutely is, and so he knows what he's got to do over the course of this season. You look down the order there, drivers like Ryan L83, Matt 212 are all there, and they're all looking to prove it. Now let's talk schedule, because where this race comes in, I think is very important, because we're on a string of races that intertwine with what's going on the F1 calendar. We've had Austria, Britain, Belgium, Hungary, all which will be coming up next. That's 4 in a row, and then break week then before Singapore comes along. It's very much a quick run of races again and again and again. And there is still, of course, that looming fan vote GP on August 15th. I think that is going to be one here, Josh, that's going to send a lot of smiles around when everybody says, look, I want this track, and I want to see these drivers either A, suffer, or B, find the result they need.
Yeah, it's always really exciting heading towards that fan vote, because you don't really know what you're going to get until the track is revealed, and then the drivers don't have the practice, they don't have as much experience, and you're heading into qualifying. Those are your first few laps, and the drivers have to absolutely nail it heading into the race.
They really do, and so we'll be keeping a very close eye on what that gives and what that brings over the course of this calendar. But I'm looking around here at these first runs that have gone through. We've had 4 different race winners through the first 5 races, and those are being Tiamat Marduk, Alex Gillen, Razin Chai, and GB68. So they've all managed to find results that they can be very comfortable with, but with a new series like this, with a new season, I should say, with a new game, new cars, new meta, understanding what the circuit brings and the responsibilities of that, Are you surprised to see such diversity that has come through the opening 5 races? Or are you looking at this potentially, Josh, as one of these seasons where, look, we're just trying to find that level ground and everyone is just so closely matched?
Yeah, I think coming into this season, we were either going to have a season where one person was going to win every race, or everybody's going to be winning all the races. And I think we've got that second part. We've had, as you said, 4 winners in 5 races. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new winner here tonight as well.
A new winner is certainly an opportunity. Now, we look down the names of people who haven't necessarily got a win yet this season. Tom97 comes to mind. Lolinoba also without a win so far. And I'm just looking across my list. Meraki there. So Jake, Karim70, both have been on the podium this season and haven't quite put it together. So there's at least 3 or 4 drivers in my mind who can definitely come up, upset, and show, look, we can go and get some big points. And you know, there is the ability of chaos to underpin and change everything when it comes to racing at Spa, because it's this great hulking long circuit where there is so much opportunity to draft and overtake.
Yeah, and with overtakes is going to come chaos, is going to come contact, crashes, potentially safety cars. To spice up the strategy, there's so many different things that could come into play, and I don't think we're going to be seeing an entirely straightforward race here tonight.
And more so, I think, setup's going to play that. I want to get your understanding of it, Josh, because I think if you want to qualify the car best around here, you need a medium downforce setup. But if you want to race best, you need a low downforce setup.
Yeah, it's slightly different on this year's game with the straight modes as well, because you're cutting a lot of the drag off down the straights, but you do want to aim for more downforce in qualifying than you do in the race, and it will make overtaking that little bit harder if you have gone for a better qualifying setup.
We are just waiting on one driver to be ready of the 22, the creators that we have to be ready. I'm sure it's probably Ben that we're waiting for. It could be anyone, though. We don't quite know who is going to put on into play, and we know he's not live at this moment in time, so it might be that we are waiting for Ben to get things ready. So we are going to be in for an absolute stormer of a race and qualifying that will come up first. So let's talk intricacy in qualifying for people who are brand new and want to understand how Creator Series scores points. So it's 25 for a win, it's 20 for second, and then it's 2-point increment down until you reach 10 points, and then you go all the way down to 1 from that point when you reach 15th place. But those bonus points come into mind because, Josh, you got the wet weather pole position, and then you got cleanest driver, driver of the day, most overtakes, and as well as that, you'll be looking as well at the fastest lap as well for a bonus point. So there's a lot of bonus points that you can attribute over the course of the running.
Yeah, and it is something that drivers will be focusing on, of course. You want to try and minimize the warnings throughout the race. You want to try and make some overtakes as well, of course, to better your position, but also there is that bonus point. But yeah, it's going to be something that drivers focus on, but of course, the big points are rewarded for those finishing positions, so that is going to be the primary goal.
So that primary goal is going to be key as we get things sorted. All drivers now are in lobby. We can confirm it is one of our new drivers who have jumped in as reserve that we were waiting for to get set. So qualifying then will be an interesting affair. It is a 1-session qualifying, not a 3-session qualifying. So you've only got the 18 minutes to go and make your story told. And for the wet pole that you are looking out for, you've got to get that done within, I believe, the opening 6 or 7 minutes. I'm not sure. I believe it's you've got to get it done within 6 minutes. So that'll be at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, and if you've got the fastest time, that's an extra point, but you will be compromising the session for qualifying effectively because you lose a run on the soft compound tyres with how long this circuit is as well. It is a little bit tricky to get 3 runs in qualifying here.
Absolutely. So you've got to get that time on the board before 11:59. It's not a case of, hey, look, if you set that one too late and you're on your final lap, but you cross the line, you're not going to be able to get that point set. And so it is going to be a little bit more difficult because not only have you found yourself late to the party, you've still got to get yourself around another lap of 2-ish minutes on wet tyres to go and get yourself sorted. So you really lose a lot of running in terms of finding that qualifying set and dialing it on in to the level that is required. But this is a circuit that brings so many fantastic moments and often tests the commitment of drivers. And I think Spa often is the place where you might see a flashpoint. And when we've been talking about this championship, it is the old rivalry. It is Tiamat Marduk versus Alex Gillen. Do you see a flashpoint today happening, Josh?
I think there is definitely the possibility. We've seen championship rivals colliding here all the way back in, I think it was season 4 between Ben and Meraki. It's possible. It's a track where we're going to be seeing lots of fighting. I wouldn't rule it out.
There's always opportunity, and we will jump in when we get ourselves fully loaded into session to make that happen. If you haven't had the chance to already, if you're watching us on Twitch or on YouTube, I know we're on 14,500 subscribers here on YouTube. Let's go and get to 15,000 because you get a lovely benefit when you're out on YouTube. If you subscribe, you can actually chat in chat with us. I don't even have that ability to do that at the moment because I'm not subscribed yet, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to subscribe, and then everyone else can subscribe as well with me, and you can get yourself in with that lovely perk of being part of the community here of Creator Series. And it's not just about the Creator Series community. This is about every single community here with the F1 game coming together and showing, look, we want to support our dog to go and get basically the bone by the end of the race.
Yeah, and it is such a special thing. Watching your creators, your favorite people to watch, go out there, battle it out, have some fun, because at the end of the day, that is what this is all about. We're here to have lots and lots of fun. And yeah, we are headed trackside now. The start of the 18 minutes coming into play now.
I would be looking around at drivers getting very quickly out of the pits to go and get their times in for the wet tyre. And as quickly as we can, we've already got a couple cars making progress on what is a relatively short pit lane here at Spa that does also intersect off the exit of the La Source hairpin, turn number 1. Out here on circuit, and you can see first and foremost Safjo, everybody's favourite Gen 1 Hagrid, then getting out and getting some good running then at the front as you get a look at those wet tyres on board the Alpine here of Fimex, who are going to be looking to try and charge on up. Now, energy deployment is going to be a huge thing today. How do you manage energy deployment over the course of a qualifying lap?
Yeah, I mean, the most important places for your battery deployment are going to be the run out of turn 1 and also the run down the back straight towards the final 2 corners. Those are the main points where you want to have that battery. They're the longest flat out sections on this track. The middle sector isn't as important. You might want to use a tiny bit, maybe coming out of a couple corners, but ultimately you want to be focusing on those 2 long straights, trying to maximize the performance there.
Yes, so that's going to be important here. Razin Shai in the Red Bull, looking to try and go out for it. We're talking constructors briefly for a moment because it's currently McLaren who are on top by 20 over Haas and Red Bull third at 25 points adrift. We've got 7 manufacturers split by 50 points, and if you want to go down to it, 10 by 57. So that is going to be huge in terms of how they are looking to try and get that all into play. So I would be keeping a very close eye on the team's game because it's by no means a done deal at this stage of the season, nearing that halfway. But we've seen the likes of Tom 97 out there with Infratic, his teammate, at this point, working through Fanya or Piff Paff or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't have a name on the official access map that goes through, which Gareth absolutely loves, Josh.
Yeah, we were talking about it just before the show got started, debating over what the corners should be called. Stavolo here, I think we were all in agreement of. But yeah, Tom 97 on the wet tyres, of course, as are many of the other drivers, and we're making our way down towards the end of the lap in towards the chicane to get things underway. Safso, of course, the first driver, making his way down Eau Rouge, up Radion, and heading on towards the Kemmel Straight now.
Climbing up the hill as you rise on up in the darkness. If Safjo with the aviators on at this stage, and he is trying to do his best Top Gun. 32.4 opening sector, really having to fight the curb there for understeer, going through Lacoon, trying to get it to rotate around at Malmedy, and now you take the drop here. Brussels corner follows now, downhill, always easy to lock an inside front, and the rear trying to step away heavily there for Safjo. Fighting again as gravity works with you to get down another straight mode zone as you look to try and open up and flick into the double ghost left here, trying to make sure that it just pins on down. Worst thing you can do is run wide and see your lap time abandoned. 14:22 on the clock.
Yes, still time ticking down, and very soon we're going to be getting to the point where you have to have started your lap. There's only really going to be one attempt for pretty much all of these drivers. I don't even think Sasso, the first driver out there, will have chance to set a second lap here, because we're at about 2 minutes now. That's roughly where we'd be aiming for with the times here. So yeah, I think it's going to be one shot on these wet tyres, which most of the drivers have gone out on at the moment. There's just 6 drivers on the soft compound tyres. We make our way through Blanchimont now, coming towards the end of this lap, and yes, certainly going to be just the single lap for everybody. Through the chicane now we come, getting onto the power now, up towards the start-finish line. Let's see what this time's going to be.
So, one chance only for the wet pole, and Safsho puts a 52.3 down on the board. Fimex clears that one with a 51.3, a full second quicker. Alex Gillen on a 51.1 gets there, but Lolanova will take it away. Razin Shire 50.8 second, but that guy Vince goes fastest, but that is a soft tyre run as well for Ricky 03. So for the moment, Lolanova is there with it at the moment. There is the Revolut Audi of Karim 70 looking to try and make a push out for it right now. Dave Gaming their 6th or 8th, now 6th for Karim 70, but more lockups then as GB, who's got a race win this season, a wet pole as well when he took it at Austria, now looks to try and steal that away. He only goes third of the wet runners on a 51.1, so it's looking like it's going to be a Cadillac smile for Lolanova at the moment, unless Meraki has something to say about it. Charging out of the final corner to the line. 9? Nah, that's not the Meraki way.
Yeah, not ideal at all. There's still a couple drivers out there. Our championship leader on a lap as well. But I'm looking at the time. I don't think he's going to be making it back around in time. Blue Fox coming up towards the chicane now. Bit of a lock-up on the entry. Not going to be helping too much. The traction on the exit here, really, really tricky. We saw Meraki sliding. The Mercedes sliding as well. Coming up towards the line is 14th fastest. 52.7 is the time set, and the time is ticking down. 10 seconds left to go. Is there going to be anybody else setting a time? No, I don't think so. Grid Joke's coming across the line. He's on soft compound tyre, so that's not going to matter. Yeah, Tiamat Marduk not going to get a time in on the wets. He's lost 6 minutes of session time and not going to get even a chance at the wet pole here.
Well, he's got nothing to show for it. Lolanova now with a point in his back pocket will be very happy about that, because it's going to be the point that gives him the margin then to leapfrog Razin Shai by 1 point. So he'll be looking at that going, well, Razin, we came in today tied at 4th in the championship, but for no longer, because I've already got 1 point in my pocket. There is Tiamat Marduk, and he, oh my goodness me, he's going to go around. And I wonder whether, I know he lives in the UK, but I wonder if he's still on Australian ping. He's got 30 seconds of delay, quote unquote.
It wasn't even the best time. He's about a second off the time that we saw from Lolanova, and now he's going to have to do another lap, another minute and 50 seconds.
Look at that
time
hole.
making its way back. Yeah, bit of
Alpine
chaos.
Garage. That guy Vince there, as well as Fimex there, not coordinating together. And this is something that often doesn't get talked about here in Creator Series. You have to work with your teammate in some way, shape or form. And that means when you go out and when you come in, you've got to leave yourself room. Otherwise, you're going to get held up in your session. Tukey going to third on a 46.2 in the Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, it can be so detrimental to your session. You can lose 30 seconds coming in or heading out if you time it wrong with your teammate. We got Grid Jokes here coming towards the end of a lap, picking up a bit of a slipstream off the back of the Mercedes in front as well, although that lockup might have been a bit of a distraction for the Racing Bulls driver. Let's see where this time puts him on the timing tower. Third fastest for him, a 45.4.
Yeah, that RB showing what it's about as it looks to try and go on and say, okay, that's not too bad, but I'm still 0.8 of a second down in qualifying to Ricky 03. So he's going to be really happy. He's 10th in the championship, but on top at the moment. But drivers now are looking to try and get themselves into play. And something that is quite unique out there is there's Matt 212 right now in the Haas. Teammate, of course, to Alex Gillen for this season. You'll be looking around and saying, right, I want to get everything that I can out of these sessions, so the best way to do that is actually to put more rubber down. My goodness, getting a massive snap out there. He doesn't have any troubles with that on his Matt 212 Moto channel.
Yeah, fifth fastest for him there, 46.7. Not too bad of a time, but again, as you said, quite a way off the fastest time that we have seen so far. We've got Concept 7 coming towards the end of his lap. He's the fastest driver in the speed trap at this moment in time. It's quite a big difference in the speed trap, so I think we are seeing that difference in setup that we were talking about just before qualifying got underway. Concept 7 coming across the line to go to the top. 44.590, puts himself a tenth of a second clear of Ricky.
Right, new leader in the clubhouse at this point in time, but who is going to make the cut, quote unquote? Tukey back to pits, no surprises about that, and an invalidated lap for Ryan L83, who will move very graciously out of the way. A former esports professional, by the way, Ryan L83, Josh, at the Radicals Online team back in the day, which was run by Rob Cuss and had some fantastic sim races in there, but now he's moved to a content creator side. Ryan struggling at the moment in the early stages of qualifying, as Grid Jokes, I think, taking a cool lap to go have a very quick lap at this one once again. A 55.1, not representative.
Yeah, well, let's see if the tyres are still up to scratch. It is a long lap around here. You're pushing the tyres very, very hard, and I think it is one of the softest sets of tyres that they bring to Spa as well. So those tyres are going to be taking quite the beating, especially around a track like Spa. We'll have to see if the pace is still there for him as we make our way down the Kemmel Straight.
Well, up we go. There's Fimex there, who tried to push Fimex, I don't know, it depends how your preference is. Fimex then going to try and push here, 14th then at this stage on that 51.3, really trying to get that car to turn in its wheels there. You can see a lovely belt steering wheel there, the good old reliable Logitech steering wheel. You love to see it.
Here we go now, making our way through the middle sector. He was the second up in Sector 1, of course. This is on our web poll times that we're comparing to at the moment. Let's see as he makes his way through the Fanny chicane on the curb on the inside there, rotating the car a little bit, using all the track on the outside as well. Car parked up on the right-hand side, not causing any issues. Through the middle sector now, 5 seconds up, so this should be quite a competitive time. As it stands already at 46, I'd expect getting in there with the likes of Tukey.
Yeah, 45, 44, definitely very possible out there. Look how low the car is sitting, just dragging sparks all the way to Blanchemont corner. And now for Fimex here in 14th, it's about, can I start climbing? Batters the curb, invalidates the lap, back to pit. Real shame there for Fimex. It's going to stay as you were, but these times are going to start rolling in. Lolling over 44.1 to the top in the Cadillac. So best with the wet pole time, now best with the time in the dry.
Yeah, Grid Jokes did improve on his time as Alex Gillen now jumps up to third fastest in the Haas, about half a second off of Lolinova at this moment. Dave Gaming, the other Cadillac driver here, making his way towards the chicane now. Straight mode coming up just for a brief moment here. And let's see where he can put himself in the other Cadillac. Got a McLaren and an Alpine just in front as well. Let's see where these drivers can go. Dave Gaming coming across the line. 7th fastest there, 45.3.
Fighting on the curb as well, just to try and put the power down. That was going to be very tough, as there is SS Blue Fox then in 20th place on a 52.7. Definitely needing that Mercedes to start singing here through the corners. And Chappers as well, looking to try and do everything he can. Runs on a modified system out there because Chappers is representing so many in the community out there that race who don't have full limb access. And I think it's incredible to see what he does with the steering wheel. Tom 97 up to 5th.
Yep, and next is going to be Chappers in the Aston Martin, making his way through the final corner, gets the traction down nicely, goes 9th fastest with a 45.7. Yeah, very nice time on the board there.
Razin Chai, though, looking to get himself involved in the Red Bull as he charges up through the final chicane and looks to get that run as straight as a die over to the line and breaks the 44s. 43.9, he's 2/10 clear.
That's a big time there from Razin. Tiamat Marduk out there now going to be looking to try and challenge against that, finding the time in the first sector as we would expect. But this middle sector is where you're going to be finding the majority of the time, the majority of the corners in this middle sector. And so many braking zones where you can make up the time, carry the speed. And let's see, he's got one car of traffic in front of him, the Audi. I'm not sure which one that is. I believe potentially Karim. But yeah, we'll see what this is going to be for Tiamat Marduk. 6 seconds up now through the first 2 sectors.
Well, Ben's going to be looking at this going, how much time have I just sacrificed in my session, and can I go and gather it back with a very nice lap time at the moment? Concept 7, by the way, third place is 6/10 off. That is not something we're used to seeing out there in this series. We're normally used to some very, very close qualifying lap times, and it is going to be now a case of Tim Marduk only 8th with Karim 70 in 7th, both on 40.8, and Safsho, a retirement then from the session, in 13th. So best he can do right now. Meraki's lap is invalidated, 3:50 on the clock, and I think there's a lot of nerves out there.
I'd be worried if I'm Karim or Ben whether there's enough time to get back to the pits, change the tyres and head back out onto the track here, get round in time for another outlap. I mean, in a minute 40 seconds time, there's going to be 2 minutes left to go. That is very, very tight to be getting out there for the final runs. And as we can see, Karim taking some liberties with the track limits, let's say, as he has probably realised as well that he is going to be cutting it very, very close with the time.
Yep, so he's now taking every shortcut out there, which, in my view, if I were Gareth Allen and race control right now, as he takes the bike layout then through the no-named corner, which is often known as Speaker's Corner, if I'm looking at this, I'm going, that is dangerous. Should I penalise?
Well, we never know what the dictators here in Creator Series are going to decide upon, but I think they're fine for the time being. Maybe they should try and avoid driving on bike lanes in real life, but here in the F1 game should be all right for them. But yeah, the time is ticking down, 2 minutes 45 left to go as they make their way through Stavolo. This is going to be very, very tight. We've got drivers heading out for their final runs already.
We do, and they're on their outlaps and realising, where do I want to be when the checkered flag falls? How am I managing this? We've got drivers like Ryan L83, who hasn't set a time yet. Emphatic, you've got Helides then in 20th position. Fimex, Meraki, GB, all haven't set a dry lap at the moment. And so you're turning around and saying, right, there's still 6 drivers and some very good ones then that don't have anything on the board. Tom 97 is in 6th place, and he is on a flying lap at the moment in his Williams. So can he go and navigate that and manage it through the fearsome Blanchemont corner? Meraki goes 3rd fastest on a 44.4. There is, of course, an Aston Martin weaving in front, and that could impede here as this goes forward. Tom 97 with a wiggle off the exit there. Wouldn't have been too pleased about it. Goes 4th on a 44.5. So will not be impressed with GB here. And now the favour's going to be returned.
Yeah, well, this is going to be interesting as we make our way through. Maybe picked up a small bit of slipstream, but definitely going to have been a distraction through that first corner there. Tom 97 lets him go in the end as we make our way down the Kemmel Straight now, looking for around a 30-second split through this first sector. We'll see what the time is looking like for GB and whether he's going to be finding improvements out there. Of course, about a second up as we have seen on his wet times, but is it going to be enough come the end of this lap?
Should do. He'd certainly hope so, and he hopes to get as high up as he possibly can. Right now, your championship contenders, 1st and 2nd in the championship, are 7th and 10th at the moment in qualifying. It's topsy-turvy at the moment, and Razin Chai, who sits 4th in the championship at 31 points back, suddenly has himself a really, really good shot at making something of this one today and clawing big points back in the championship fight. Here's Tiamat Marduk. You look directly behind, being shadowed by that Audi here as he heads himself over to the line. Has one more attempt if he wants it. Crosses for a 44.4 that goes 4th on that attempt. Karim 70 though, directly behind him, jumped better, and so Tiamat Marduk down to the 3rd row of the grid. Tom 97 desperately trying to slow down so that he can cool the tides before getting one more go at it once again. GB looking to move through the final chicane then. Will this be the time that he's hoping for? 43 is what he's got to try and aim for, and the checkered flag comes out on him there, a 44.2 that puts him into 4th place. Now we start taking back the times. Now we look at Lolin Ober's Cadillac here that is absolutely trying to scream around the lap. Concept 7 in P7, a tale as old as time. Matt 2-on-2 now, looking to come and cross, and can he go better than 18th place? No, he stays where he is and struggles then with that attempt. Grid jokes then, trying to get these RBs moving on in line, and those Racing Bulls turn around. He stays 12th with that attempt. Big kick from Dave Gaming as he tries to get that Cadillac up, and he'll get one over that guy Vince to a 44.9. Now Alex Gillen desperately needs this lap time. He needs it and then some, but he's going to look like he's in the 44s here, and it's only a 44.7. He doesn't improve on his lap time. Cardinal at this stage of the season. Helidis then in 14th place. Riccio 3 we're going to focus on, coming to the line and gets it all out of shape, going there and stays in 11th. So now you ask who can go and improve. Chappers can't. Meraki's in the pit. So it's down to Ben and it's down to Razin. Razin with a validated lap is going to come down into the pits. Oh my goodness me. This is looking like an absolute storm of a day for Razin Chai as far as qualifying is concerned. Infratic looking to find something as he makes the push over. 45.4 is good enough for 17th place on the grid. But my, oh my, Josh, as we watch Blue Fox come to the line, it is enough there. Ben's done and dusted. We're done and dusted. Razin Chai on pole at Spa.
And it's a decent margin as well, almost 2.5 tenths of a second ahead of Lolanova, who just could not hook it up on that final attempt. I'm sure there was probably some time in it for Razin as well, had he needed to go out there and improve. But in the end, no one was able to touch him. Karim got close, GP got close, but yeah, they just couldn't fully hook it up on that final run and get into the 43s with him.
For the third time this season, Razin Chai will take pole, and he will take pole. He did so at the Spanish tracks of Barcelona and the Mad Ring. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a really interesting grid that sets ourselves up. Spa is known as a place of overtaking. It's also known, believe it or not, as a place of strategy, because your overcut and undercut, because it's such a long lap here, Josh, really exacerbated.
And the other thing that helps with that as well is there is a 2 steps between the medium and the hard tyres. I believe it's C1, C3, C4 are the tyres that we have here. So you have an even bigger pace offset and an even bigger tyre offset between those 2 tyres. They degrade at such different rates that you really can make a difference with the strategy.
That is a huge strategy that we will be seeing, but critically, Razin Chai, Lolanova, Karim, and then GB, your top 4. Meraki 5th and Tiamat Marduk 6th, with Concept 7 and Tom at 97 there in 8th. You got Fimex and Alex Gillen. As you look down, grid jokes there, that guy Vince, Dave Gaming. There you can see the likes of Chappers down there in 16th, and Fratic and Saf Show, all the way down to Ryan L83, who did not set a time in qualifying. But qualifying is just one part of it, Josh. Race time is what everybody now just looks to try and set themselves up. Qualifying doesn't win you the race. It does give you the best ticket in the house.
Yeah, and something to watch, of course. We've got Tiamat Marduk starting in 6th, Alex Gillen 8th, Tom 97 in 10th. That's the top 3 in the championship. All of them out of position. All of them going to be fighting their way through, looking to try and make those positions up. I think those are definitely going to be 3 of the drivers to watch in this race.
Yeah, they definitely want to go and make some moves. And then you got those drivers who have maybe interspersed themselves into position to say, look, I still want to go and give myself a little bit of something for it. And this is what we see week on week, race on race. The form book just keeps on changing here as people discover how to get quicker.
Yeah, well, it seems that Razin's got the form book down to a T for qualifying at least. Whether he can maintain that throughout this race, though, I think going to be a very different story. But Spa, a track where you can overtake, where you can battle, I think that's going to be something important for him to bear in mind as well. If he can break away at the start of this race, pull a 1-second margin and break that overtake mode, he's going to be in a really nice position here.
It's the perfect chance here, if you haven't had to already, to go and do all of the great social things, being like, share, follow, all of that, to make sure that as many people as possible are watching some amazing creators go out and battle at their very best. We are going to have an absolute showcase here of 22 great creators for 44 great laps here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And so I will be turning around and saying, who wants to be like the statue at the top of the village of Stavelo, Josh? Who wants to take this by the scruff of the neck, be like the cannibal Eddie Merckx?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. If I had to pick anyone to win this race, though, if I had to say someone, I would go... I'm going to pick Lolanoba as my driver to win here tonight. I think he's starting right at the front. He's had the pace. Just that one mistake on that final run, missing out on pole there.
Five winners from the first 6 races. It's definitely something that's not impossible here in terms of what this season brings on the offing. I think we're going to see a repeat winner, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out. So I'm going to put my GB hat on and say GB's got a really good shot of making something happen here today. But everybody knows that they have now got to set themselves up on the ready up and get themselves ready in for racing action. It's a really short run to turn number 1, and how many times do we have to remember Romain Grosjean's hit out there in 2012, which pretty much was the turning point in the championship for Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, it's not the only time we've seen lap 1 collisions down at turn 1 as well. Of course, 2017, I believe it was, or 2018, where we had Hulkenberg, Leclerc and Alonso all coming together down at turn 1. Yeah, I mean, this track can always breed a bit of chaos into turn 1. It's such a short run, such a heavy braking zone, and everybody tightening up, trying to pinch in towards that apex.
Yeah, we very much will do. And then, of course, you got those to fight at Eau Rouge and Radion turns 2 and 3 on the circuit, and up the Kemmel straight to Les Combes. It's the first big chance drivers will have to make moves, and to be aggressive in the early stages, I think, is going to be a big key out there. So would you rather be aggressive or passive on the opening laps here?
When I'm racing, I usually tend to go for a bit more of a passive approach, but there comes a certain point where you have to start getting your elbows out, otherwise you will just get eaten alive by the pack. We've seen it so many times before here in Creator Series, and I think that is going to be something that the drivers are taking into this race. They've got to make sure that they are the ones pushing, not the ones getting pushed.
So, wet tyre pole goes the way of Lolanoba, 1 point. Razin Chai with the pole position gets 1 point. So they are going to turn around and go, right, we're back even again in the championship. 30 points off of the championship leader, Tiamat Marduk, who is a little bit further back in the pack and is going to have some work to do out there. There are drivers aplenty looking to try and substantiate their seasons to say, hey, look, I'm going to be the one who stands up on top. But if you are there in the mid-pack, Spa is the sort of circuit that has often highlighted a driver who has struggled at other circuits. It does drive differently to a lot of other circuits on the calendar.
Yeah, it's such a unique lap, so many elevation changes, such a variety of low speed, medium speed and high speed corners. And yeah, you just have so many opportunities to try and make the difference here.
You absolutely do, and so we'll see who is the biggest difference maker over the course of the running that we have, as we are still awaiting here all drivers to get themselves gridded up, and I believe we just now have had that opportunity. So the light sequence then is just about ready to get itself then into play, as everybody knows and understands that these 44 laps here in the mid part of the season are now going to be about waking up opportunity. We call these the meat and potato rounds, but now who is going to be throwing haymakers out here at Spa? Lights on here for this race, and round 6 gets itself underway. Good start by Razin Chai here, as they'll immediately fan out to try and get a move. Maraki trying to get to the inside, doesn't quite make it work, but they'll now push on through the opening section. A few yellow flags there in the background, as Safsho was slow off of the get-go, but they'll climb the hill for the first time. Look at GB side by side with Karim 70. Tiamat Marduk's all over it like a rash, as they'll climb the hill up the Kemmel for the first time, and Tiamat Marduk on the outside now of Karim, trying to go Lolanoba to the outside of Razin Chai. They'll go into Les Combes. Lolly leads.
Crucial moves being made on this opening lap. The Cadillac taking the lead here. Tiamat Marduk up a position, already looking to try and make more, but here comes Razin fighting back down in towards Brussels. Gets the move done, gets the lead back here. Now with the opportunity to recharge his battery in this middle sector to help himself defending, as we now make our way through No Name Corner towards the double left here. Let's see if anybody's going to be brave enough to try and stick a nose to the inside. It looks like they're all heading through single file for the time being, but Crucial battling up at the front. GB making moves. He's got the confidence here in Spa.
Yeah, 3 drivers started on a hard tyre. Alex Gill and that guy Vince and Matt 2-1-2 have gone for a hard tyre to start. And you might think, hard tyre here at Spa, not out the realms of possibility, but this season you must take all the dry compound tyres over the course of the race. So you must use at least a hard, a medium and a soft.
FimX and Concept 7 both side by side as they made their way through Campus and Stavolo. That is not a place where we are used to seeing overtaking. I think they're still running side by side towards the bus stop as we're seeing another swap of position up at the front of the field. Lift and coast in towards the chicane side by side between Raz and Lolanova. GB and Karim going at it as well as we make our way through the final corner. To close out lap 1, Razin Chai leads the opening lap. Lolanova and GB all over the back of him though.
This is ridiculous. They're all over the place trying to go through. Here comes Ben to the inside now to take second place. What a move. And he'll now look at the drive. Lolanova. It's all about where you're using the battery. Ben trying to harvest here over towards Eau Rouge and Radion corner. And so he now falls back into third. And can he get the power on? Razin Chai, straight mode engaged. But it's not going to matter too much because here comes Lolanova again. Looking for this move. GB there back in third. Has now got himself in place. Lolanova runs slightly wide. Now looks for the up and under, to the up and under, to the up and under again. Razin Chai now might think about it down the hill, but Lolanova now to the point with Karen back into 5th position.
This is incredible racing here at the circuit. Spa-Francorchamps. Karim battling away here, just watching this all unfold here. TMM Marduk from 5th to 2nd in the space of 1 corner. Drove back down to 4th now, but this incredible stuff here. FimX right on the back of Meraki as well. Could be thinking about joining this battle. Here we go towards the final chicane. TMM Marduk trying to box Meraki in. Here comes Karim now to the outside. Late on the brakes, trying to squeeze his way into that gap and might just be able to find his way alongside, backs out of it, heading in towards the campus corner here.
And this is what we're talking about, these energy modes that we're starting to see here and how big the difference is between having power or not having power. We are seeing huge opportunities on these shorter straights where in previous years you'd say, nah, you don't have a chance anytime. GB now starting to get himself all toiled in right now as Lolanova takes defensive stance here. Razin Chai out to in, looking for a run, and they're going to be 3 wide off of the exit of the final corner as Razin Chai gets swarmed. Lolanova holding his ground. Riccio 3 with the fastest lap of the race so far, and side by side into 1 they go. Razin and GB continuing on, and the longer that they keep fighting like this side by side, it helps the hard tyre runners out because they get a free tow ride up here with these drivers. And look at the difference as they go to Eau Rouge and Radion here. GB to the outside now looking for a way. He'll now move himself up to 2nd, but Karim still trying to get overlap. Now moves to the outside, and they're going to cross some beams so aggressively. GB to the outside, and Lolly holds.
This is going to end in disaster, surely. One of these laps, they're going to make contact, they're going to come to blows, and somebody is going to be heading home with an early shower, I think. Lolanova holding this lead for the time being. Seems to be the best of the bunch at the moment, but GB been slowly fighting his way through the field. Now running 2nd, could be on to try and put himself at the front here. Of course, you have got better battery deployment when you are running with a car in front of you. You get that overtake mode, and that will be helping drivers to make those overtakes, but it's going to be so important to make sure you're in the right place at the right time. You don't want to get caught up in any unnecessary battling. Kill your tires, kill your battery. It's just going to ruin the race for you.
Yeah, now TMM Marduk goes to the inside here, jumps Razin Chai, gets back into 3rd place with that move. It's very tentative for Alex Gillen at 3/4 of a second back. If you see the rubber band of over a second snap, you can just kiss goodbye to any opportunity. And any drivers caught behind in that sense as well here right now, Josh. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. Look at Ben pushing to try and get by. Oh, contact both ways as they're almost 3 wide going into the final chicane. Look at them, 2 by 2 by 2 off of the exit. Noah's Ark called. He wants his animals back as they go along the main straight. Look at this now as they're getting busy on in. TMM Marduk sees GB down the inside, and Razin Chai back to it. 2 by 2 to Eau Rouge, and Lolanova gets himself back in line, still leading.
But is he going to be vulnerable now? The drive's behind, maybe saving some battery and might have a chance down the Camel Straight. The gap is under a tenth of a second, probably about half a second, covering the top 7 here as we run down towards Lake Kong. Lolanova under pressure, GB trying to close in, Razin making moves, Tiamat Marduk here as well. We're 2 by 2 once again, heading in towards turn number 5, side by side. Here comes GB trying to squeeze his way through to the outside through Malmedy. Is he going to have the power on the exit of the corner? Looks like he does, but they're still side by side in towards turn number 8, battling behind as well. Karim trying to make positions, GB all the way around the outside to get himself to the inside, heading into no name and take the lead in this race.
Absolutely ace from GB. Lolanova could only watch Razin and Karim through on Tiamat Marduk, so that's 3rd, 4th and 5th. This is officially right now a 16-car group for the race lead. A second's gap back there to that guy Vince as Meraki gets himself close. Did he knock off a little bit of his front wing there with the contact? Grid shows a disconnect's going to need to get in pretty quickly now as he goes through. That's a shame for him in 12th place and right up in the midst of all of this. But for the moment now, a chance to get a slight reprieve with GB now leading. And look at this group right now. Infratic here is realising I'm going to have to get moving here, and that is to get by Grid Jokes. And Infratic, same problem.
Yeah, lots of drivers struggling with the battery at the end of this lap. You've got so many straights where you have to burn side by side again up at the front. GB and Lolanova, Karim, Ben and Razin all battling on the exit as well. Karim is through into 3rd position now. Razin and Tiamat Marduk having to slot in behind, but here comes the Audi now to the inside to try and take 2nd place here in towards turn number 1. Karim with the better traction on the exit. Potentially, does he have the battery to burn as well to try and take this position? Doesn't look it initially. Now we run down towards Eau Rouge. Karim has taken that position. Here comes Razin as well.
Wow, that was nearly drama there between Lolly and Razin as they made wheel-to-wheel contact up the straight. Look at what it's given GB here. 0.6 of a second, 3 wide in the background, 2 lots of 3 wide as they're all looking to try and get themselves line. That's Ricky 03 there with Dave Gaming looking to go at it, and he's going to lose out now because through goes Fimex then to get the Alpine up into 10th place. They're racing like it's lap 4. It's the 4 laps left rather than the case of 39, 40 laps left in this race. And Alex Gillen in 6th on the hard tyre is loving life.
Yeah, he has had an incredible start to this race to get himself up so many positions on the hard compound tyre. Tom 97, who started 2 positions behind him, has actually lost 2 positions, so not been the best start. The fact that Alex has been able to make 4 overtakes and the start of this race, really, really incredible stuff, and just showing how much this chaos can favour the drivers who are brave on the brakes and ready to make moves.
And brave on strategy because you think you can take the hard tyre compound long here on this stint, get it to about halfway. You can then put on a medium tyre, and then you've got all the flexibility for the second half of the race to put the soft tyre on. Everyone who started on the soft tyre will be turning around going, well, we wanted to build a gap, we wanted to overtake, but clearly it doesn't matter, it doesn't make a difference. Razin to the outside now, there's lock-ups then go through. First penalty of the day comes in, it's Tukey for 3 for corner cutting.
Yeah, not the best start to the evening. If we have a late safety car, that is going to be really detrimental to his race. Tiamat Marduk once again making moves around the outside on Karim, heading in towards La Source, going to try and get the power down, although he might get a bit boxed in here with Razin Chai just in front of him. Looks like, though, he is going to hold on to that position, and once again, the circus show continues around the outside as we make our way through a Rouge and Rally on Razin Chai, up into 2nd place once again, going to start to chase down GB.
Nice try there for Razin Chai as Tiamat Marduk now sees himself trying to work with the train in front, use the slipstream to get by Karim and manages it. And Alex Gillen having a little sniff there on the outside, hoping that he could find a lane to make it work. Didn't quite manage it there, but you've got to be very, very alert on the back of the group, not to just go diving in willy-nilly, because something like that, running wide at Brussels and diving the exit off, is very easy for you to lose an end plate.
I think this strategy from Alex Gillen is really smart. He can just sit behind these drivers, let them do all the battling, and then they run a bit wide, and he can just sneak the nose of his car in, use some boost, and just get himself straight through, up an extra position or 2. Here, looking to the inside, now to the outside, heading in towards the Fania chicane. He's just ready to make those moves when it's needed. Doesn't need to force anything unnecessarily like we see from the other drivers in this lead pack, and he's just able to find his way through.
Tom 97 disconnects now and needs to find a way to get back in. He's having the AI drive for him, and that's not going to do him any favours. He battles now with Helidis, but for the moment, Alex Gillen, they're in 6th. They have almost dropped Meraki now. He is 1 second off the back and then side by side then behind Riccio3 and Dave Gaming. So that's going to be big. That's the break. 3 wide. Oh my goodness, GB. Round the outside of Razin and Lolly to now put himself up to the point. Now here comes the drive back then for the main straight here on lap 6. Lolinova then sitting there with Razin Chai. Teammate Marduk moves over to the right-hand side, but into turn 1, Lolinova on the inside. 2 by 2 they go. Oh, Alex got to be careful as he's moved up to 5th. Past Karim70 has a little nudge to the back of the diffuser of Razin Chai.
Everybody holding it single file this time as we make our way up Radion now, but Teammate Marduk closing in, might have some battery to burn. He was on the attack down towards Lassos. Is he going to do the same? Here down towards turn 5 we go. Here comes Alex Gillen, deciding now's the time to start some battling, trying to squeeze his way 3 wide here. Teammate Marduk all over the road here, down the inside. Contact made between Alex Gillen and Teammate Marduk. Championship rivals colliding here in Spa.
Back into him.
And yes, again,
he's turned him. He's turned him. Oh my goodness, he's turned him. We thought there'd be a spark. There is.
That is so unfortunate for Alex Gillen. Incredible strategy at the start of this race to fight his way through. We've got a gap now at the front of the field. Lolinova and GB 1.4 seconds clear of Razin Chai. The DRS has been broken. The overtake mode has been broken. Although Razin Chai is going to be burning his boost, trying to find his way back into that 1 second margin. But incredible stuff here on lap 7 of 44. Karim also getting caught up in that. Dropped down to 10th position. Has anybody picked up damage potentially?
Wow. That's now the next question, because I look around at Tiamat Marduk and go, right, how much am I going to be able to claw? Look at that front right end plate, gone. And he just moved straight across the circuit, back into the side there of Alex Gillen. I'd love to see a replay if we ever get a chance for it. I don't think we're going to get one. But my, oh my, Tiamat Marduk and Alex Gillen, it's a tale as old as time. And now look at them trying to try and get around. Tiamat Marduk, I would say, get off the soft compound quickly, get a new wing on, and immediately Riccio3 and Karim70 sense the danger. We're going to come in, get out of this train, and focus on our own pace. And I think that's wise.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that Karim also picked up some damage there, but with how slow this train is probably going with all the battling, there is definitely a possibility for a very, very big undercut. We're already 8 laps into this stint on the soft compound tyres, so they're going to be starting to see a little bit of wear as well. This could be a potentially strong strategy to try and make a recovery here, as yes, we've got swapping up at the front.
GB and Lolinova, they change for position. Look at look at Tiamat Marduk drop like a stone on the straight. Ryan L83 didn't set a time in qualifying, and he's now 5th.
That's incredible stuff. I mean, we've seen it before this season already. Drivers coming from the back, fighting through to the podium, fighting through to victories. But yeah, we're on lap 8, and he's gone from 22nd to 5th. That is incredible stuff.
Well, what more can the Sheriff of Nottingham do right now? He is threading the needle like Robin Hood to get himself through as many places as he can. Concept 7, the next one on his overtaking list, and then they got to start working to keep Razin, Lolly and GB all in range right now. Lap 8 here of 44, and my goodness, this has been like a telenovela to start this race. It's had absolutely everything and then some here as we've looked to try and start this off. Meraki 6th, Tiamat Marduk 7th, Dave Gaming in 8th, and Alex Gillen there in 9th. The top 3 a mile away in the context of what we've seen this season, but Ryan L83 right now is the man on a mission, and that McLaren is moving as GB holds his ground, as Lolinova, I think, settles down and realises, look, there's no reason to battle, we've got a gap.
Yeah, this is the mature version of these races now, as Tiamat Marduk battling with Meraki further behind as well. Still carrying that damage, of course, he's going to be down on some pace. Meraki looking to try and find his way through, trying to get himself back, potentially in touch with the leading train. Tiamat Marduk hangs it around the outside. Impressive, considering the lack of downforce that's going to be on that car. For the time being, the 2 McLarens running 5th and 6th here.
And so up the hill, they'll be looking at this going huge for the team's championship. Gillen on the outside of Meraki now, trying to make some progress on the hard tyres, and they're going to start hitting a window where they start looking good. And there's the pass for 4th, and he gets by Tiamat Marduk as well. Clean this time, I may add, and Ben's got nothing for it. Alex Gillen then up into 6th position, but you have to say, we're at a circuit where you have to be elbows out. This has been, you know, knife fight in a phone booth stuff.
Yeah, incredible battling here. And the gaps again, we've got Swappy in the middle sector here, down towards Puon. Razin Chai gets himself through up into second position, and here to the inside as well.
Lorry
Meraki trying to
disconnect.
squeeze through. Oh, that is a big moment here. That is going to be so costly for the driver who's been leading a majority of these laps. That could see him potentially dropping out of this train. Ryan L83 getting into that 1 second margin. We have got a replay here for you now as well. The contact here between Ben and between Ben and Gillen there, sorry. That was the contact made there, just a small bit of wheel hooking, and I think that is where the damage got picked up for Ben.
Well, he said very odd, I went a little bit deep, but I would turn around and look at that and go, yeah, you pushed him off, and then Ben said, I'm going to give it back to you, and ultimately, you two are going to have to be fisticuffs out there behind the crown as they look to go for it. Lolinova still dropping that time until he gets himself back in, and he's going to get absolutely mugged there by Concept 7. Lolinova back into the car. It's cost him 3 places and the main group as GB and Razin Chai are now clear. Meraki now pitting off of those soft tyres here on lap 10. 2 by 2 they go into the opening corner, and that Cadillac slow to get the drive off right now. Dave Gaming sitting behind going, come on, we've got to give him the old Cadillac 1-2. Shake and bake.
Yeah, well, this is incredible stuff. Dave Gaming trying to squeeze his way past his teammate. That AI going to be a bit unpredictable. Lolling over very soon.
No, he's in.
Should be back. Oh, is he? Is he back in control?
He's back in control, so he'll now have the chance to say, look, I'm giving it everything I can, and now on the brakes, you can see, yeah, definitely being a little bit more aggro out there, so Lolinova has got to try and keep himself steady here with Tiamat Marduk and say, right, now I've got to go, and now I've got to focus here on it. Looks for the inside, it's not quite there, as they now look to try and get their focus. My, oh my, what a busy run, and leader of those who have pitted, Ricky 03.
Yeah, and I think maybe Karim, of course, losing those positions, the damage as well, that's going to have cost him some time. He would have been, I expect, the leader, but he's quite a way down. Probably changed his front wing in that pit stop as well. Got his teammate a couple seconds up the road. Here, more battling as well. Emphatic got cars behind, squabbling away. Lolinova back in the car now. Got Tiamat Marduk in front of him. Got to try and make this move. Of course, Ben still carrying the damage. Going to be slow here. Might even drop out of this 1 second margin to the other Cadillac in front.
That would be huge if he loses that ground as well, and it won't be his fault with all of that. So Dave Gaming here trying to make that pass on Concept 7 and going around the outside of Blanchimont. Gee whiz. Absolutely animals, all of them going out there, just being super duper aggressive, and the pass there from Dave as he goes through, and I think that is Tiamat Marduk into the pits then with the front wing that will need to be changed as well, so gets it slowed up on the marks, and now a critical stop for him. Lap 11 of 44, we'll see whether the front wing gets changed. You bet it will.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's about 5 seconds of race time lost just to change it alone. He's, of course, been losing pace as well as we've made our way through. Razin Chai just taking the lead from GP as they made their way up. Radion as well hits the front of the field once again. But Alex Gillen on those hard compound tyres is closing in. This is the battle between these guys as they head down towards the exit of turn 1. Karim makes his way to the apex. Ben making his way through the pit exit. Does he come out ahead of the Audis? Yes, he does, just about.
So, critically stays ahead of Helidis and Karim 70, but now's going to look to try and be aggressive here in this second phase of the race. Grid jokes on the back of Matt 2-on-2, a battle for 11. Look at the way that Matt just pulls away over the top of Malmedy there, and straight down the inside goes Tukey. Grid jokes then, I think, turns around and goes, well, it's me who's going to be the one laughing at the end as everyone goes flying on through. What on earth did I do to deserve all those passes?
Yeah, it's an interesting way to race on this game. Of course, we see some incredible racing that we have seen in these opening 11 laps of this race. We're almost a quarter of the way through this one already, incredibly. But yeah, sometimes you see some incredible differences in speed. Sometimes we see some incredible overtaking. But the pack is starting to form back together once again at the front. Ryan L83 just briefly was under a second off of Alex Gillen, but he has done an incredible job. At one moment was running third from the back of the grid in just 9 laps of racing. It took him to get to there. Now dropping away a little bit with the battery, I think, running out. But he has done an incredible job to get to this point, yes, into the pits.
Perfect timing there. Lolinova's going to follow, as will Concept 7. So this is going to be a big call here for all of them who are going to be jumping down in the pits. First box as well for the McLaren, because they are, of course, world champions out there, so they get the favourable box advantage, and so they'll be looking at this one to clear. Now there's Tiamat Marduk by comparison. I expect him to be behind after the time he lost on the front wing change. They're going through is Meraki. Riccio 3 as well has already gone through, so now it's going to be a case of how good is this on the exit, and now can you just settle down into rhythm?
Yeah, this is going to be such an important stage of the race, as Alex Gillen and GP were battling all the way down from the exit of La Source towards turn number 5 here as they made their way into the chicane. Alex Gillen on those hard compound tyres that are starting to come into their own form, starting to find that pace. They are definitely the tyre to be on at this moment in time, and he's definitely making those moves work very nicely. I don't think it'll be too long before he's up into the lead of this race.
Well, we will soon see. Alex Gillen, I think, is having a very good race, but he's having to navigate through some very big difficulties. His strategy is going to be different to everybody else out there. He's just got to work the hard tyres now and get the mediums and softs late on in the race, while they are the best tyre to go and work with. He's doing the hard yards early in the Toyota Gazoo Racing Haas that he is running out there at this point, and this has been the story of Alex Gillen right now. He's not had a great last 3 rounds. He's had himself 16, 10 and 14 points respectively at the Mad Ring, at the Red Bull Ring, and then over at Silverstone. But this is his chance to say, look, I'm going to come back and really go for it.
Well, let's see, as into the pits comes our race leader, Razin Chai, coming in now. I'm not sure whether GB has followed. I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. Dave Gaming also coming into the pits on this lap, maybe a couple more. Tom 97 coming in here as we start lap 13 of 44. Alex Gillen leading the way here in Spa, and now we watch to see where are these guys going to come out relative. I believe this is Riccio 3 making his way in towards the first corner, and it looks like they're going to be coming out behind Riccio 3. Done a really, really great job with this undercut here to get himself into what should be the net race lead.
Yeah, so Riccio 3 with a gap of, I believe, about 4 seconds, and he will be laughing to the bank at what he's been able to do with that early stop. He'll have to pay the Pied Piper back later. Here's Meraki on his mediums then. Can Jake go find the bus? No! Oh, bye-bye! Ryan at 83 at a rate of knots!
That came out of nowhere. We didn't even see him coming, and now behind the guy who was just leading this race, Razin Chai, Ryan is in a very, very strong position here. An incredible start to this race. He's got himself right into contention. We know he has the pace out there, of course, Ryan, and of course we're going to wait and see how this plays out, but he could be on for a very strong performance here tonight, as it stands, the leading McLaren driver.
Yeah, and how often has that happened this season for Ryan L83? He knows what he needs to do in this championship. He has been down in 13th. He's only got 17 points to his name, so a lot more. Now the Cadillacs going at it. Dave Gaming and Lolinova. At what point does Dave Gaming realise that Lolly has got all the pace in the world? He'll be really frustrated. It's his own teammate he's stuck behind.
That's going to be a frustrating one. There's nothing they can do regarding team orders either to get the Cadillac out of the way. GB coming into the pits as well, gets himself off of those soft compound tyres. I believe the last driver out there remaining on those soft compound tyres as well. Gone the longest, going to hope that that benefits him later on in this race. But yeah, swapping happening. Lolinova actually lost a position down that straight.
And critically, Ricky is within 1 second now of Matt 2-1-2, so that's going to be huge in terms of how he's got to go. Matt's now got to do some hold-up work if he wants to make this happen, but for the moment, it is all about that Aston Martin that leads us. We don't get that exactly how we want to, but lap 14 here of 44, and suddenly after what was an absolutely bonkers start to this race, we now have to talk strategy.
And we do have a very interesting strategy race playing out. Lots of different strategies coming into play. Here comes Ryan L83 on Razin Chai, looking to the inside, heading in towards Lecom. Gets himself through, up into P5 now, and on a pretty even playing field on the tyres. He is looking very, very competitive. Riccio 3 through on Matthew 1-2 just up the road as well.
Yeah, just trying to go through the motions. Ryan is rolling back the years here as he looks to try and find his time. He knows how important it is just to get some points on the board. He saw the contact for Tiamat Marduk and went, right, I'm going to have to stand up and make myself counted, because effectively Tiamat Marduk right now here is down in 13th place, and that's going to do no favours out there. That's the minor scoring points position for the championship leader, and he's gapped by Fimex.
I'm very surprised to see that. That is quite a big margin to be pulled as well. Team Mud are going to have a lot of work to do to get back into that train of cars. 3 seconds is quite a big margin to pull, unless VMX is going to be facing some issues. He's looking quite in a bit of trouble here tonight, is Team Mud. That guy Vince running in second at the moment. The other driver, I think, along with Alex Gillen and Matt 212 that started on the hard compound tyres. He's doing quite a nice race here as well. Currently 8 seconds off of Alex Gillen, but running a couple seconds clear of Ricky in some nice clean air where he can just settle down at the fastest lap for Ryan L83. Really showing that he does have the pace here tonight. He's actually closing in on Matt 212 and Ricky at quite a rate of knots.
Well, Ricky has got to make the pass on Matt 212. The question will be how strong does Matt follow in behind, as now he will look to try and run with it. And so Matt 212 here, his job be a nuisance to that Ferrari, and he might be the bridge, the all-important bridge. Ricky, by the way, 4-lap older tyres. He was very early in committing to that, a big old undercut to get the track position. It's worked a treat for him, but he knows he's going to have to pay that time as he goes down into Brussels. Razinchai and Ryan L83, they're both going to be turning around looking at this going, yeah, nah, we're not going to be in a position where we're going to sit down and go, I'm just going to let you run away. They are desperately trying to chase down and get back to the net race lead, depending on when the hard tyre runners pit.
Yeah, and Razin now within that 1 second comfortably of Matt 212. He will get overtake on the next lap and might have a shot to get himself back ahead of the Haas and the Ferrari into the net race lead here tonight. Alex Gillen and that guy Vince, 2 drivers out of the front, still yet to pit, as is the Haas of Matt 212. But as it stands, I'd be quite happy if I'm in the position of Alex Gillen, despite probably losing quite a few positions when he does make that pit stop. He's running a very comfortable race at the front of the field. Yeah,
it's a lovely race. It's been absolutely brilliant where we have seen how this one has gone, and GB gets through on Meraki at Blanchimont for the pass, and Meraki with nothing to go with it. GB is on a tear, and of course with those brand new fresh tyres that he is sitting on with, absolutely he's got to go for it. Razinchai, then a 47 flat, now gets the fastest lap. Now here's the question of stick or twist that everyone's going to be keeping in mind here. How early do you come off of those mediums onto the hards? Do you dangle out for a safety car, or are you in a position where you say, right, I'm going to take them now, and then when a safety car comes, I can get a set of softs on?
It's going to be a tough one. The hards can go for such a long period of time. The drop-off is going to be so small. Very close there between Razin and Matt 212 as he pulled out for the move there, almost into the back of the Haas car. He's through up into 4th now. Ricky 03, the car ahead. Ryan L83 going to be looking to try and follow through in the steps of the Red Bull. But yeah, going to be very interesting, this strategy is. I think Razin, yeah, around the outside, trying to defend Ricky. Couldn't quite get it done there. Matt 212 also, I think, going to be defending from Ryan L83 very soon.
And now Ricky starts to pay back the price for pitting so early. Yellow flag out in Sector 1. It's the other Ferrari of Safsho, potentially by the looks of it. Or is that Helides who's gone around back there? I think it's Helides who's had a spin at Lake Coombe. And so that now puts a little bit of concern. It's got back going again, so no need to throw any safety car or virtual of the ill out there at this point. Ryan now and Matt 212 here battling it out. It's Haas versus McLaren, but it's now the sister cars that are going at it for 5th. Matt on those old hard tyres, 16 laps they've been run. Ryan L83 now needing to get this done and get this done quick. Looking here at Blanchimont, not going to find it around the outside, and really backing out of it on the battery. I think he wants the big deploy up the Camel, or is going to go sailing down the inside for the pass. Catch him napping, didn't quite get enough. It's off camber, off the other side. Ryan's now got the line for turn 1.
GB60 in on this as well, going to make his way through now, looking to the inside on the McLaren driver, late on the brakes, trying to make 2 in one straight. Ryan L83 goes a bit wide. GB trying to squeeze himself alongside, and maybe has the battery here. They run side by side down past the endurance pit lane here, up through Radio, and we go still side by side. Incredible stuff between GB and Ryan L83. The Aston Martin marginally ahead, tucks himself through ahead of the McLaren, and now into the slipstream, back out again. Ryan L83 not giving up on this one just yet. I think now going to have to give up on it. Eventually the battery just not there for the McLaren. For a moment it looked like he was clear, then not, then there, and then not. Eventually he has to settle in for 6th place.
Lots of papaya there in the fans. They were looking at Ryan L83 going, look, I've got to go and get this pass. But GB is absolutely motoring. And Razin Chai, I'm going to put this into perspective right now. Gap is 12 seconds to Alex Gillen here. Gillen knows he's going to lose at least 20 plus in the stop, and then he's going to have to make about 8 seconds on circuit with his final 2 stops of the race.
Yeah, but he's going to have the faster tyres as well. And I think that's the crucial thing for Alex Gillen. He's set himself up so that he is going to have the fastest tyres of anybody at every stage of this race, bar the very, very initial start of it. And even in that stage, he was able to make up position. So overall, the strategy has worked so far for Alex Gillen. 11 seconds is the margin at the moment, and they're stuck behind that guy. Vince, here comes GB on Ricky 03 gaining towards the chicane.
Now, left-hand side, GB, take it with focus here at the moment, hits the brakes and says, no, don't want to risk this one at the moment. Now, that guy Vince picks then from what was second place. That releases Razin Chai. 18 laps on the hard tyres. I think this is going to be staring down the barrel of about, again, a similar stint on the mediums.
Yeah, 5 laps so far for Razin on the mediums. Alex Gillen, the longest we've seen on the hards at 17 laps. Here comes GB to the inside, heading through a rouge. A bit of contact there between the pair of them. That nearly ended in disaster, but Ricky 03 having to tuck in behind Ryan L83. Going to be watching this eagerly, hoping there's a gap for him to find his way through as well. Ricky going to have to give up on that podium position. Now Ryan L83 weaving out, tucks back in. No chance there.
And Matt 2 on 2 behind, fighting with Lolinova for position. It is getting busy still on this track. Lap 18 and no moves being had there from the helicopter view down to Brussels corner. Here comes the look down the inside from Lolly. Meraki also looking to follow directly behind. Lolinova hangs out. Matt 2 on 2 wide. Meraki got to go round the outside of Speaker's corner as they now take the launch all the way over, and Matt will have to give Dave Gaming one as well as he falls down to 9th.
Dave Gaming right on the back of Meraki there for a brief moment. Thought he was about to go all the way around the outside of the Mercedes driver. But now everybody's starting to settle down a bit more. They fought their way through the traffic for the most part, and they can start to focus on their race ahead once again.
I'll tell you what, Lolinova looks at this, 2.5 seconds off the back of Ricky 03. He's got a motor. Dave Gaming then we go on board with at this stage for a brief moment as we run through the curve of Paul Frere, which is not a turn according to the access map, and over now towards Blanchimont corner here, turn 17, out on circuit. The final chicane follows along. 2 places gained, by the way, in the background there for Tiamat Marduk. Look at him move back up into the top 10 on the power of Tim Tams.
Yeah, gonna have to back off though. I think he went off track and picked up some illegal overtakes, so he's given those positions back. Now down to 13th, but he's gonna be fighting back. He saved a bit of battery there. Gonna fight back into turn 1, get himself ahead of Concept 7. Look to the inside here, just for a brief moment. Thought he was about to stick the nose of the inside of Infratic. Slots back into 12th position, and now gonna have to do all that hard work all over again.
Well, here's the thing you got to look at right now here, Josh. You're not going to judge Tiamat Marduk on the way he wins races. You judge him on days like today where he's got to now start scrapping back and get a result from a very unlikely position.
Yeah, and it's going to be a long, long race ahead of him after that contact he had with Alex Gillen early on in the race, the damage as well. Now the recovery drive has begun. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he's not that far. He's about a pit stop behind Alex Gillen at the moment, so they're going to be quite close together when Alex Gillen does eventually make his pit stop. Relative to Razin Chai, probably about 16 seconds, I would say, at most. It really depends on how the traffic flows here. Razin Chai has actually broken away. The gap, 1.3 seconds up at the front between Razin and GB, 2.1 back to Ryan L83 as well. So they are starting to fan out a little bit at the front of the field.
Well, I turn and look, gap down to 9.5. He is really reeling in Alex Gillen here, and Gillen is looking to try and get himself a really aggressive final 2 stints of this race, and I think he's leaving himself a little bit too long personally, and the last thing that Gillen's going to want is probably a safety car out there to be thrown, because if he does see one out there, then he knows that everyone's coming in and they're going to get their final strategy in, and suddenly he's going to find himself a full stop behind everybody else. It's a dangerous game to work it out on the hard tyres. Razin Chai there in second, GB trying to hunt down in third, then Ryan L83 and Ricky 03, 4th and 5th places. This is an absolutely insane run at the moment. The fact that these two are 4th and 5th when they walked into today, 10th and 13th in the championship.
And for Ryan L83 also starting last in this race. Ryan has had an incredible drive here tonight. I think even if he can't maybe pick up a podium or something, he's going to be walking away very happy. Yeah, but just been incredible stuff from him. Battling with Ricky at the moment, still holding on to that P4 position. Infratic also further behind, I think might be thinking about a move on Fimex for that P10 position. Gets himself to the inside. That was very close to contact there as they now make their way through Malmedy. He's up into 10th position.
Infratic's also had a disconnect in this race, and so sees Fimex just diving back on the run through. It's hard tire versus medium as well, so we're seeing those differences that are coming in. Tiamat Marduk on the back of this gets through. You hear that bleep? That's the indication that straight mode is engaged, and now looking for any way here through double ghost. He's going to try and pick the pocket on the inside. Does he have enough room? No, I think he's going to have to now try and force it 3 wide. Turns to 2, turns to 1. Oh, Ben, slice it through butter.
Incredible stuff. That is the strategy you've got to have. You've got to wait for the opportunities to come there to the inside. Fimex trying to be brave, trying to make that move, but in the end has to settle for that P11 now. Finding those gaps, finding your way through and making it through cleanly is how you can win races. You've got to make the moves when it counts. Otherwise, you will just get stuck in the mid-pack in these battles, and we might still be seeing some more coming as we head towards the chicane.
Yeah, so now Fimex trying to go the long way around. You get one of the 4 straight zones here, or straight mode zones, that you can go and work with here. That's the 4th of them. First along this main straight, then you get one up the Camel, one down towards Double Gauche, and then the one to the final chicane. There is always places where you can go and get it. Fimex back through, then into 10th place and focusing. And I want to go up to 2nd and 3rd suddenly, because GB absolutely reeling in on a line. Razin Shai, he gets himself back to half a second. I'd love to see the tyre graphic as well. See the difference in tyres, how many laps difference GB has. He was one of the last cars to come in. That is just 1 lap's difference then on those mediums.
Yeah, just looking at their last lap time around, it was a 47.7 set by GB. I'm not sure what the fastest lap was, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't too far off. He was about 0.6 of a second faster than Razin Shai last time around. It's here, more moves being made. The Racing Bulls there of Concept 7 looking to the inside, trying to squeeze his way through.
Yeah, so I think he realises now where this group is, and Fimex dropping way back now into this one here. Concept 7 now to the inside, can't quite get the run on Infratic there in the Racing Bull. So ultimately that's going to stay as it is for the moment. But this has been a case now of the mid-pack trying to figure out what they're going to get out of this race, where they are going to find. And still Alex Gillen holds out in hope that his strategy, I reckon he's going to go to halfway, and then he's just trying to chop this down into 3/4 and 1/4 as he goes. There he is leading. He now takes the halfway lap, lap 22 here at 44. We're currently on 23 laps to go here at Spa. By the time he comes round, I'd expect him to box.
Yeah, it's not going to be too much longer, I don't think, before we see a pit stop from Alex Gillen. He's got to cover off the potential threat of a safety car, maybe go for a set of soft compound tyres, a quick stint to fight his way through, and then have the mediums available for a safety car to come. We've got Matt 212 into the pit lane now. He was the other driver, still hanging out from the start.
Yep, so he dives in, and so that is one car to forget about for the moment. Soft tyres going on for Matt, so he wants an aggressive stint here before he takes mediums to the end, and they might be seeing mediums here over at Haas as the better race tyre to finish on.
Yeah, I think just having that longevity, if we do see a safety car in maybe 10 or so laps, that is going to be the crucial thing that they want available. The soft tyres are going to die off so quickly as Karim and Tom 97 swapping positions. Tom 97 really not been his day today.
Well, neither has it been Karim's after his front wing got lopped off in all of the drama up at the top of the hill, and that's going to be something we talk about for a long time in the context of this season. Tom 97, who he himself has also run through the disconnect troubles, he has now found himself way back down in the pack, now needs to try and work back, and this is a Tom 97, by the way, who is 3rd in the championship as a full-time reserve. He's jumping in for Gwatz today, out there, who has only made 2 rounds this season. So this is huge for Tom 97 and what he's trying to deal with. But he's struggling here at this race at Spa.
Yeah, and there on the exit there, if Campus corner, the rear end sliding and into the pits does come Alex Gillen. So he's done exactly what you said, split this race into 2. Half of the race on the hard compound tyres. Now he's got a medium and a soft to finish the rest of it off.
Ferrari into the pits, then second stop for Ricky 03. So that's going to be him off of the mediums and maybe onto the hard compound to finish off his race. So Ricky 03 is going to be looking to hang it out there, and he knows Alex Gillen, he's got to stay within strategy win. Hard tyre on, and now it's just a case of can you bring it all the way round to the end. So he's going to be someone to note late, as now side by side up at the top for your race lead. GB gets the move done, and now it's Aston Martin back out in front.
Yep, nice move there from GB with that tyre advantage as well. Maybe can try and extend that margin up at the front as well. But Alex Gillen, soft compound tyres, it's the same thing as Matt 212, looking for a quick stint hit here to try and close the margin, cover off any potential issues that he could have later on with overtaking, but also keep himself available if we see a safety car. A lot of these drivers are going to pit, and then he'll have the track position once again, once he's heading onto those medium tyres later on. Either he's going to have the same situation where he's going to have a big tyre advantage, or if we see a safety car, he'll be ahead on the track and be able to make use of that cheap pit stop to get himself out near the front and in a really, really strong position to fight for the win.
And so now I think he'll be turning around at this going, okay, my job's simple. I got to get to GB and Razin Chai before they make their final stops. That would make his life easiest in terms of what he needs. And Ryan gets 3 seconds for warnings.
That's unfortunate stuff there. It's been an incredible evening. He's only the second driver to pick up a penalty as well. They have been very, very scarce, but the battling with Lolanoba and Dave Gaming, he finally succumbs to those track limits. Lolanoba ahead, Dave Gaming trying to look around the outside. And let's see if there is a chance here now down towards turn 1 or maybe towards turn 5 for Ryan to try and fight back and get that track position back.
Tukey disconnects now and has troubles out there. Helides with 3 seconds. Fimex now gets 3 seconds out there, and it's also a reminder here that the last chance to summon a safety car is lap 34 in this race. It's a lot earlier of a margin than others. It's busy now here with Fimex. Tom 97 goes flying on by, and a huge blink around then as Karim goes through. That guy Vince goes flying on by as well, as they'll all get the clearance and say, look, we're going to want to get some movement sorted. And that guy Vince getting by Karim then in a straight line. That Alpine is rocketing, and here comes Fimex straight through as well.
Yeah, lots of swapping here with the battery. Fimex really is struggling out there. Unfortunately, just hasn't really played out in his favour at this moment in the race. He is out there on the hard compound tyres though, of course, so later on going to be heading to a softer set of tyres, maybe a chance to fight back in the later stages of this race. But things really going to have to wait and see how they unfold. I mean, we are only just over half race distance at this moment in time.
And for those of you who are in chat saying Ricky's race is ruined, I don't think so just yet. I think he's in a really good position on his hard tyres. All his stops are out of the way, and now he's just got to focus on putting down the hard yard at the moment in his position. Yeah, he's got no one around him right now, but sometimes that's all you need around this place. Just no worry, no drama, and I think he'll be very happy about where he is and what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't see a safety car for him to require another pit stop, he's going to be in an incredible position with 2 undercuts here to gain some positions. Here comes Infratic on Meraki there. 2 Blanchimont just trying to squeeze. Here's Williams into that gap. Couldn't quite get it done. Maybe into the bus stop chicane as well. Could try and have a look here. Teammate Marduk, though, making moves on this lap. That is crucial for him. Alex Gillen and Ryan L83 also swapping positions up at the front.
That's 2 for 1 in towards turn 1. Alex Gillen got a great run through the main straight, past Dave Gaming, then dived through Ryan L83 to get it done. He's now 4th, and he's only 6 seconds back of the race lead, so he is absolutely motoring. But here's now a look on board. He's looking at Lolinova here, thinking, you know what, I could have you, Mr. Hard Tyre Runner, for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Look at that around the outside. Alex Gillen is absolutely heads down and thumbs up.
Last time around, I'm just looking to see the gap in lap time. It was 2.3 seconds faster. He is going to be catching up to our race leaders in a matter of just 3 laps time. and he is going to be on some incredible pace. He'll only have 5-lap-old soft compound tyres at that stage of the race. Alex Gillen looking very, very competitive indeed, and all the while, GB and Razin going to be battling away here up at the front.
They are, but it's going to be a case of I don't think they're battling as aggressively as maybe you'd think they are. This might be a case of let's just get the strategy in, let's get the fuel up to the level required, and then give ourselves something to go and work with out there on track. I think that's going to be super key to the way that this one's going to go. But GB and Razin Chai right now, they know what this race is. It is the charge of Alex Gillen behind them that is going to give them the concern. Razin Chai close, but not close enough to make a move here into the chicane. Right and then left, and then to set themselves up for another lap. And Lolinova is trying to get his afters back then, if he wants to try and get through. Look at them in the background there. There's no getaway here for Alex Gillen.
Yeah, he lost the position to Lolinova and nearly lost it to Ryan L83, who now looks to the inside on the Cadillac there, gets himself through, up into 4th position, of course, carrying that time penalty as it stands, but that's not going to matter for him on the track while he battles away here. The gap is now extending. It looks like Alex Gillen should be clear and away here at this stage of the race, and now just has to focus on the cars in front as Lolinova coming through now. Incredible closing speeds.
Yeah, he just absolutely pins right foot to floor and says, right, set phasers to I overtake you, Ryan. And just like that, he goes on by. Now it gets busy. Concept 7, Meraki 3 wide on the main straight. We're going to double it up here. Over in towards Lake Coombe. Look at that guy, Vint. Looking to try and chuck it in. Tom 97, though, isn't done with it here. And still the side-by-side continues on. 2 by 2 by 2. Down to Brussels corner. And that guy, Vint, beats Tom 97. Fimex through on Concept 7. But still they continue to fight back there. Concept 7 back to the inside. Karim 70 having a watch here with Meraki and Grid Jokes. And this one just getting busier and busier and busier.
This is incredible. This is why we love racing. This is the stuff we watch for, the cars battling out there on the track. And once again, we're seeing overtakes left, right, and centre in corners where you don't see overtakes coming usually. Karim just having to bide his time there.
Disconnect.
Oh no, that is disastrous. The strategy looked like it could be playing in his favour with the undercut coming into play, but he's going to be losing all of that time as his car is now taken over by AI. Dave Gaming looking to the outside there of Ryan L83 heading in towards the chicane, gets himself through, but they have lost touch with Alex Gillen and Lolinova.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, but Gillen and Lolly's doing very well to hold the back of Alex Gillen. This is the tow rope he's been looking for to keep himself in range in this race, and I think that's the key for Lolinova. Stay in range of Alex Gillen because he's a rocket ship right now, and you want to be holding on to the thruster. And now he'll look, 0.7 of a second, really clawing it back on the straight. Razin and GB swap, so Razin Chai now leading as they now head to Lake Coombe. But this is where it's getting really, really interesting as far as it goes. Ryan still scrapping with Dave Gaming, and still both of them in a really strong position here for a top 6.
Yes, it's going to be incredible to see how this fully plays out here. Fimex looking to try and gain on the back of Tom 97. They all fail into single file. Dave Gaming back through on Ryan L83, not giving up on this battle just yet. These guys, I think, going to be going at it all race long here. Ricky has managed to rejoin, but he's lost over a second just in this about half a lap, but he's been disconnected.
Oh, it's really tough to see Fimex then here at 12th position, looking around at Karim 70 and the all-important points that can be garnered out of this situation. Everybody is deep in the tank on their strategy, and we will be starting to see final pit stops taking their hold between now and probably about lap 36. I would argue is about as late as we're going to see a stop for soft tyres out there for those who still need to use them. Ryan L83 right now is giving himself everything he possibly can here in that 6th position. He's got 7.7 over in Fratic, and that's key because that's more of a margin than the gap that he needs for the penalty. So he's still getting what he needs out of this performance.
Yeah. Going to be so important as Ryan L83 is into the pits now, so decides to call it quits on those medium compound tyres. Should be a set of hard tyres, I think, lined up for him now, taken to the checkered flag, assuming we don't see any late safety cars coming into play. Only 6 more laps until we're going to be purely down to the luck of the racing to see a safety car and not just any drivers hanging down at the back. GB back through on Razin Chai, heading towards Lake Com as well.
Yeah, Alex Gillen has really tempered off in terms of his pace. He's stuck at about 4 seconds here off of this group because they're doing one thing that Alex Gillen would have hoped that they would not be doing right now. They're working together and slingshotting using slipstream and straight mode to get exactly what they want, a gap.
Yeah, and that's the only thing they need, although on this lap, the gap has just come down by about 7/10 of a second. Through that section where they had been battling, Alex Gillen might still not be giving up just yet. There might still be a chance for him to get closer before the pit stops do eventually come, and that's going to be the important thing, is just getting as close as possible to give himself as good of a chance as possible once they go onto hard compound tyres and he goes onto the medium compound tyres.
And lots of drivers out there on long-ranging tyres at this moment, eyeing up a pit stop. That guy Vince is the one who is moving through. He's got some very young mediums on here at the moment, has his Alpine, so he's really trying to cut through, and he's eyeing up Tiamat Marduk here in 7th place as a driver that he can go and get by. He's had one bad round this calendar season so far as Tiamat Marduk, and that was only Barcelona, where he tangled with Lolinova and really struggled on reflexes. And unfortunately, as far as this season goes, that's the only other season this race that I've commentated, so clearly I'm the bad luck charm for Ben as both come in.
Yeah, pit stops coming now for these guys as well, and this time around, look at the gap between Razin and Alex Gillen. It's come down quite dramatically once again. We're going to see the pit stops here, and it's going to be the hard compound tyres, of course, for Tiamat Marduk heading onto his car, and a quick push to the finish. 15 more laps of this race, and he's going to be hoping and praying, and a bit more hoping and a bit more praying that he can make the overtakes and find his way through into those decent points-paying positions.
Well, pit lane, a hive of activity because Infratic, Tiamat Marduk on hards as here comes Tom 97 to get by that guy Vince. 5-lap older hard tyres get the job done. Meraki, Tukey, all there, all making their stops, looking to go and get to the end. Tukey has struggled a lot on the disconnect here today, but for the moment, that gap now down at the front, 2.5 seconds. Here is Tiamat Marduk out the pits. He's going to have to fight hard here, get by Matt 212 and get by Matt quickly. Does so. Good pass, must make in terms of what he needs. He's got to hold the coattail of Infratic.
Yeah, and he's got to try and swap here with Infratic, I think, as well, to catch up to the back of Ricky, make sure they don't overburn their battery, work together and find themselves up higher into these points-paying positions. They're not too far off the back of Ryan's penalty as well, and then it's a couple more seconds to grid jokes, Fimex with the penalty as well. There is definitely opportunities. I think that we're actually going to see these guys picking up some decent points here tonight.
And dare I say it, it might be the first time I've actually seen Fabio finish a race, but here comes Ben straight to the inside, and now it's going to be a fight on the outside by Infratic. Not going to get there at Fania. Leaders in.
Yes, both of the top two coming into the pit lane now off of their medium compound tyres. It'll be hard tyres to the end, just 14 laps on this tyre. Alex Gillen continues on his
Dave!
top. Oh no!
10 for speeding, the Cardinal sin, and ultimately now it will see big points gone for Cadillac as he will now work through with it. GB has got himself out ahead, and where's he going to come out? He's going to be right with that guy Vince, so they're going to get a tow rope along this run up the hill of the Kemmel. That's critical. Gillen leads, Lolinova second, that guy Vince third, but we are firmly in the final pit stop range.
It's 12-lap-old medium tyres for that guy Vince as well. He's going to be struggling here immediately. GB putting the pressure on, gets himself through. Razin Chai, though, crucially, is still stuck behind. If this tyre advantage is going to be a big, big pain, we could potentially see that sort of position to the big snap of oversteer there as that guy Vince got onto the power there.
That guy Vince is going to be an interesting character to the end of the race because he's still got soft tyres to go and put on yet. So he's going to be lightning fast at the end. He's on the same strategy as Alex Gillen, the same strategy as Matt 212, but ultimately different. Look at the closing speed into double ghost. Razin Chai has to get well out of it. Now puts the power back down off the exit. Needs it around the outside of Fania here and comfortably breezes by on the hard tyre.
Yeah, and now the question becomes, when does Alex Gillen come in for his pit stop? Maybe with that traffic, maybe there's a chance that he can make his pit stop soon, come in, get those tyres, the medium tyres on and start to close in on these guys. He's got to give himself time, of course, to do it. But if we're going to see a safety car as well, he's going to want to stay out and keep that track position, keep the freshest possible tyres for that restart and use the advantage of a safety car pit stop.
Well, a safety car can only come out here in the next few laps intentionally. Unintentionally, one can come out a little bit later. But it's about how do you mitigate all of that in the late stages. This has been a hard-fought battle track, and there's lots of runoff if you make contact. It is one of the toughest circuits to summon a safety car at. More often than not, we see races all the way to the checkered flag here. Lolinoba then in second. GB we focus on in third here, with that guy Vince in that 5th place, and Dave Gaming with the 10 seconds. Ryan L83 with the 3 seconds right now. Ricky 03 currently is a net 6th at this moment, with more still to come and make stops. Razin Shai now up into 3rd place, gets the transfer on the main straight. They're still working together for the moment, but what point does the alliance break?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think. I was just looking at the tyres, and I'm not sure whether the thing I'm looking at is slightly incorrect, but according to what I'm seeing, Razin has run medium, hard, hard. I'm not sure if there's a stop missing there.
No, it would
that
be
is
soft,
wrong, yes.
medium, hard.
Yes, okay. I got a bit confused for a second there, but we are seeing some more battling in the mid-pack here. Concept 7 and Emphatic side by side as they made their way through Brussels there. Karim in P10 on a charge to try and make up a couple more positions.
And get points, because remember, Karim is 7th in the championship. He's had a 2nd over to his name, and so he has been definitely keeping a close eye on what he's been needing to do. He's been a slight step back this championship season, but he has been on some others. And Tiamat Marduk back in 12th. He is really stuck, and he's got his knees deep in the weeds right now. Here comes another move though. GB around the outside of Razin.
Trying to find his way through. That guy Vince still sticking with these guys for the time being, of course, yet to make that final pit stop, but he's doing a very nice job at this stage. Dave Gaming through on Ryan L83 as well, but now he's the one carrying the bigger penalty and carrying the bigger blow towards the end of this race. Ricky 03 on the back of these two could be looking at a move here, maybe towards turn 1, closing on the McLaren, decides to tuck in behind, saves some battery for a charge down the Kemmel Straight.
So what can he do? Matt 2-on-2 is in for his final stop of the race then. He'll be looking to go aggressive then, as he'll have medium. Look at the time he loses here as he goes 7th gear and looks to try and climb back up. Absolutely flying on the battery is Ryan L83 as he makes the pass on Dave Gaming. So I look around at that for Ricky 03. Middle sectors, that's where he's going to be starting to claw that time back.
Yeah, it's going to be the most important sector, of course, with so many corners there. You've got to absolutely ace it.
Back.
Yeah, he's been slowly chopping away, a 10th faster on the previous lap, but they are losing a lot of time out there now. That gap is coming down to Razin Chai. I don't think it's going to be too much longer before they will make their pit stops to the medium tyres. Soft and hard and soft, their respective strategies, both with a medium to go. We've got 12 laps left of this race, and with intentional safety cars very soon about to close out of an opportunity, there is definitely a possibility that we won't be seeing a safety car throughout the entirety of this race, and they're just going to go for the optimal strategy overall.
So, neither going to come in. Yellow out in sector 2. That is going to be Helades, who is there slow. Actually, that's a Ferrari. That's Safsho, who has just gone and spun it around. And that might be your call out there to say this is a candidate who could go and summon a safety car late.
Well, you never know what could come in these late stages. It's 2 more laps left to go here. Concept 7 and Karim battling away here in towards the chicane here. Concept 7 gets that position ahead of the Audi. But the time is definitely ticking down. So many drivers engaged in battles as well. There aren't too many drivers out there who I think would go for it, to be honest. So I very much think there is a chance we're going to be heading to the checker flag without seeing Bernd Mailander out there on the track. Lolanova still sticking about 1.3 off the back of Alex Gillen at the front.
So, Concept 7 here in 9th place, looking at defending here from Karim, from Tom, from Tiamat Marduk, from Emphatic, from Fimek. That is a who's who for Concept 7 to try and go with. And look at that, a bump draft from Tom 97. Are we on an oval? Is it Daytona? Is it Talladega Nights?
Well, anything you can do to find that little bit of advantage, push Karim through to try and make space for your overtake to come true. And eventually, Tom 97 now threw up into the top 10. Razin Chai has been catching up to our leading duo at a rate of about 2 seconds per lap. It's only going to be a few more laps before he catches up to the back of these guys, and his tyres aren't really going to be wearing out either. These hard tyres are so durable around here. We saw Alex Gillen do half the race on that tyre compound.
7th gear through Blodgmon, rolling over within a second now and realising very, very quickly that he is bringing Alex Gillen all sorts of connections now, and it might be about here for Lolinova. If he can get close enough to make a pass, I would be looking around at this going, you've got track position for the pit stop. We're on the magic money lap of lap 34.
Yeah, this is the final lap. Once everybody comes to the end of this lap here, that is going to be it. Nobody a lap down, so it is effectively just going to be about 2 minutes or so before we do see whether we're going to be seeing a safety car, and I very much don't think we will, to be honest. But yeah, legit safety car still possible. Karim 7T with the fastest lap of the race as well. He's in 9th position, catching up to the back of Ricky 03, and then Dave Gaming and Ryan 83, both with penalties as well.
GB sweeping along the main straight, gets past, then up into Lei Koom, around Razin Chai, and now we'll know that the next time he crosses, there are 10 laps to go here at Spa, and still a very nervy wait in the final quarter of this race to go and get something of it here. These two have got themselves the box office seat, and they know that everybody around still has some form of pit stop to go. This has been a crazy start to this race. It's cooled itself out a little bit, but Karim and Tom, 9th and 10th, still looking for effectively a fight for 6 championship points.
Yeah, and the battles at the front getting close as well. GP and Razin together, Alex Gillen and Lolinova separated just by a few tenths of a second now. Lolly on the hard compound tyres, they'll be feeling a little bit better, but they're now at 22 laps old. That is where we saw Alex Gillen coming in for a pit stop. Are we going to see pit stops potentially made on this lap now that we haven't seen that safety car come? Still a couple drivers, of course, who are straggling out there at the back.
Oh,
but yes,
out.
Alex Gillen into the pits. Lolinova stays out. That is an interesting call. He's going to continue on these hard compound tyres, trying to go for the ultimate tyre offset here. But I think that might be a little bit too late with the rate that Razin and GB have been catching. It's only going to be a matter of laps.
I think he was still trying to cover it for anything late. I think he was covering one more lap. Alex Gillen decides, you know what, my medium tyres, I'm going to try and get there, but you need an undercut if you're going to get something on Gillen. That's what Lolinova is probably thinking of. That guy Vince in for his final stop as well. He'll go to soft tyres, but he'll drop well outside of the top 10 now, as he's now in 14th place, and he's got it all to do. Now down to 15th as Grid Jokes is there and clear. So still a lot of work to do for those looking for those final stops. And look at that train on the mini-map.
Yeah, it is incredible to see GB and Razin battling once again. The gap 7.5 seconds with 10 laps to go. That is a big, big margin to be closing on people who are on only 6-lap-old hard compound tyres. I'm not sure whether there's going to be enough time, and maybe that collision we saw right at the start of this race involving Alex Gillen might have decided his fate here tonight.
It very much might have done. So Tiamat Marduk realising there are huge championship points that are going away, and this will allow Alex Gillen back to the championship lead. Tom 97 he can mitigate too, but Razin Chai and Lolinova, they'll also be screaming down his neck saying, I'm still in this fight as well. You're not going to get everything your own way. Tiamat Marduk then, who sits in that 10th spot after damage from contact with Alex Gillen up at Lei Koom, will now turn around. Lolinova surely into the pits now, and he does.
Yeah, no more intentional safety cars at this stage. More battling here for what is our net race lead. Razin Chai through to the outside ahead of GB68. That gap, Alex Gillen has brought it down. It's at 7 seconds, but I don't think he's closing quick enough.
Well, not right now he's not, so keep that in mind. It's not right now that that gap is closing to what it needs to be. Stop done by Lolinova, and there is Alex Gillen, and he is going to be clear, but by how much as he looks to get up to speed, because Lolinova has done a really good job of covering that one off with 1 lap fresher tyres now. Alex Gillen, I'd look at that gap and say, guess what? He is right there.
And look at Alex Gillen as well, 6.5. The gap has come, and Alex Gillen doesn't have the battery to burn. Lolanova fresh out of the pit lane, takes that position away. 1 lap longer, but Lolanova has worked absolutely perfectly for him. He's got the fresher tyres, and now he can start to set his sights after our top 2.
Right, that is going to be a huge moment there for Lolanova. 6.4 seconds to hunt down these two, GB and Razin Chai, who are out there on those very old tyres now as they are looking to try and just go forward for it. He now sees this as a great chance, a great opportunity to close this down in the final stages. So I would be keeping a very, very close eye on at what point they decide, right, it's going to be all out there at this moment in time. It's all out, it's gloves off, we got to go fight for it. That's what they'll be looking at here at the end of the race, and that's why they've been setting themselves up on the strategy. Alex Gillen, they're in 4th place, now has to do exactly the same with Lolanova. They've got to work together. Razin Chai now to the lead through Blanchimont.
Yep, continuing the battling, that's only going to be helping Lolanova. The gap 6.5 seconds on lap 36 of 44. Time is ticking down here tonight. Riccio 3 also battling further behind, gets himself through on the Cadillac of Dave Gaming. A nice easy pass on the straight, lots of battling. In fact, I think Tom 97 and Tiamat Marduk going at it with Karim as well. But Alex Gillen going to be just sitting in behind, waiting for his opportunity. And here they are, 2 by 2 as they make their way out of the chicane. Tiamat Marduk in 9th position as it stands, could still be on for maybe a top 5, top 6 chart finish here. There's maybe a chance for that to come into play.
So I'd be turning around at this group, and you realise now that they are all there together. Tiamat Marduk gets it done at Eau Rouge, moving by Tom 97. They're 2.5 seconds off the back of Dave Gaming here. They'd like to get there to get to Riccio 3 and Ryan L83, and they'd love to in order to get those positions, because effectively, if they just work it out together between them, as Tiamat Marduk gets mugged by Karim 70 and Tom 97, they could be fighting for a top 5.
Yeah, this is going to be so important. They're closing in on the back of the drivers with those penalties, making sure they stick with them and don't lose them in the battling as well. Ryan L83 is the leader of this train, but Riccio 3 leading on the track position effectively. He's got that track position ahead of Tom 97, Karim Tiamat Marduk. So he's going to be sitting quite happy for the time being, but they are closing in.
Well, it's all about who's got the nerve, because suddenly you go all the way back to 13th where Infratic is, and you go, there are 8 drivers capable of getting a top 5. The minor points paying positions, I think, are going to be the national lottery, and who's going to get their fingers crossed.
Yeah, more battling here. Karim and Tom 97 side by side as they head towards Blanchimont. Gets himself through up into 8th position. Now the gap 1.9 seconds. Tiamat Marduk also closing in. He's going to have a look there. Looks like he'll just settle in behind, but you can see the second train just up the road there. They're all in the same shot, heading down the start-finish straight here. And this is going to be the crucial battle. Karim has gained another half a second on the back of Dave Gaming. Is definitely within those penalty ranges. It's just whether they can get the track position off of Ricky.
Gap under 5 seconds for Lolanova as Razin Chai back through on GB. At some point, they're going to have to start wondering here, are we worried about the group behind? At the moment, they're okay as far as it stands, but Tiamat Marduk, look at this, where do you want to go? The Williams of Tom 97 there, and moving up, here comes Fimex. He's got penalty, so he's not as much of a concern, but they're going to stay as they are. They're still 1.9, 2 seconds off the back here of Dave Gaming. They've got to get to that 1 second to stop Riccio 3 taking that 5th place.
Yes, this is incredible battling. Tom 97 on the inside. Tiamat Marduk tries to hang it around the outside. Can't quite get the move done there. Unfortunate stuff there. Dave Gaming and Riccio 3 also battling. Riccio 3 losing a position, but Karim has actually lost some time on this lap as well. So as it stands, still Ricky looking decently comfortable for what should be a P5 finish here tonight. Lolanova, the gap now down to 4 seconds. That gap still continuing to tumble at about a second a lap. In fact, on this lap, it was a second in just the middle sector. That gap is coming down, and I think Lolanova might have burnt too much battery because he's just lost a lot of time here as well. Maybe a mistake.
Well, he might be trying to get Alex Gillen in to help him, and he's now seeing that gap, 4.5 there, as they now set 5 laps to go. Well, sorry, 6 laps to go here at Spa. The gap at 4.4, so he's got to close at a rate of about 0.7 of a second a lap. And I wonder if Alex Gillen is just sat on the back going, no, go on, you do all the work, I'll take all the credit at the end. There on the other side of the diametric coin is Tiamat Marduk in 10th, looking around hoping that 5th is an opportunity, but again that gap remains around 2 seconds, with Dave and Ricky having a huge scrap coming into Eau Rouge.
Yep, Ricky still not able to find his way through just yet, but might have a chance here down towards Lacombe on the brakes, potentially gaining in the slipstream of the Cadillac. We're also gaining on Ryan L83, going to go late on the brakes here for the Ferrari driver, and does find his way through on the Ferrari-powered Cadillac, gets himself up into P6 now. Once again, puts the car between himself and the cars behind him. They have lost even more time. The gap now 3 seconds at this rate. There's a chance that Ryan L83 might hang on to the P6 here.
And Tiamat Marduk's been shoved to the back of the group, and turn around, keep an eye out on Ryan. Ryan could still get 6th here because that gap's 2.8 to Tom 97, so he's still got a chance of getting some big points from McLaren. But Tiamat Marduk struggling now and really seeing this race turning the other way.
11-lap-old hard compound tyres for Tiamat Marduk. They should be starting to come into their own at this stage of the race, but it just doesn't seem like that is the case for him, unfortunately. Just getting barged around, losing those positions. Dave Gaming still sticking on the back of Ryan L83. The gap at the front now down to 3.5 seconds. Is that going to increase, though, as we make our way towards the final chicane, towards the end of this lap? Last time around, it was 0.9 of a second found. This time around, we're just waiting to see what the times are as they cross the line. Again, this time around is 1.2. They are finding the pace here. There is definitely a chance we could be seeing a battle for victory at the front. Is there contact? Oh, a mistake in the final corner. Round goes the Williams and the Alpine. They're going to lose a couple positions here on the run towards turn 1.
Not what Tom 97 needed. Tiamat Marduk now trying to go through him. Fratic is there as well as they go. They've allowed Karim 70 now to break and bolt, and he'll now have to go about things on his own. But the group now finds itself together. Not what Fimex wants to get caught up in either with. But Tiamat Marduk finds himself through the melee and realises, yeah, I'm going to have to keep on scrapping for this one. And he looks around at him, Fratic at Fabio, who moves himself up to 9th place and says, yep, I'm having that, and almost having that as well was Tom 97 saying, well, I'm not done, I'm not washed up yet.
Thought about the move, but it was just a little bit too far back. Ryan L83 still just about hanging on to the front of this train pack of cars. Karim is outside that penalty range, so still as it stands, hanging on to that P6, which would be an incredible finish here to the inside. Heading into Pooh on there, Dave Gaming takes the P5 on the track. If only he hadn't sped into the pit lane, this could have been an absolutely incredible result for the Cadillac driver and the team as well.
3 more for Fimex. He's up to 6 seconds now, and that will drop him well outside of top 10 and potentially points. Razin and GB looking at each other here. Are they going to start fighting? Yes, they are. Razin Chai gets the pass done, and with 4 to go at the line, he gets it done. Lolinova, not as good of a lap this time. Under pressure now from Alex Gillen. The gap still at 3 seconds here. Dangling agonisingly at the moment. They've got to get a move on. 2.8. Over the line it goes. Ryan L83 remaining steadfast there in 5th with Ricky and Dave all there. And they've got Karim at 3.5 seconds.
Ryan will be happy, but he doesn't want to battle too hard. Infratic is catching Karim as well. Hits the inside. Comes the Ferrari of Ricky. Time is ticking down. He wants to make sure he has as many cars between himself and yeah, a mistake there on the exit there.
No, he's just not using battery. He doesn't deploy it there. Ricky does it differently to everyone else. He just doesn't use anything that's there. Alex Gillen, tired of waiting for Lolinova, powers through on the main run up the Kemmel. And now it's his responsibility to chase down that gap. You've done as much as you can. My turn. Watch and learn. 2.7.
Let's see, maybe some battery being recharged for Alex Gillen as well. He can use that on this lap to try and get themselves that little bit closer. It's already down to 2.4. He's gained 0.6 of a second in the space of a few corners here. He's really going to be pushing this one, hoping for some battling in front as well. Try and pull himself through into the fight for victory here tonight. It's going to be a close finish, I think, though. If they can get there, it's probably going to be on the final lap of the race, and they're going to have to hope they have the battery available or something happens between our leading duo to give themselves an opportunity opportunity. The gap now 2.1 seconds.
Oh, it's getting closer and closer currently. 7/10 a lap is what's needed to go and get to the group. But now you start wondering, GB, Razin Chai, where does it go? And they're side by side. Razin Chai now to the race lead is going to get the pass sorted. They're still trading right now because it's all they've got left to try and hold out. Some point the alliance is going to break. 2.3 seconds. It's going to have to be 7/10 a lap right now for Alex Gillen. Ricky through on Dave. Is going to be another pass back there. Karim starting to close back within that 3-second window.
Just as it stands, sitting outside of it, though, that is the crucial thing for Ryan L83. It's crucial for the constructors here, side by side, as they make their way up. Radion, GB68 from a car length back, finds himself the car length in front. By the time they hit the top of the hill, that was brave stuff, and could have been an airplane crash. And Alex Gillen and Lolanova battling as well. They're going to swap the positions once again. Battery recharge going to be so crucial. Use the battery to try and close in. 1.6, 1.5 is the gap. Now going to make it 1.4 by the time they make it out of turn number 7. They're going to make it.
And this is going to be huge because it's one thing to get there. As Murray Walker once said, passing is the other thing. Razin Chai and GB, they're not going to make it easy for Lolanova and Alex Gillen. Yes, they've got the better tyres, but in the final stages, all bets are off basically at this point. 1.2.
They're going to potentially even have a chance to get overtake by the end of this lap if Lolanova has enough battery saved up to keep within. By the time they hit the chicane at the end of the lap, the gap is 1.000 there. Just for a brief moment, they're getting tantalizingly close. Under a second now. This is going to be crucial. Stick with them down this straight, and you have the overtake mode. You can recharge, ready for a last lap battle to the checkered flag.
And how much have Razin and GB saved up, knowing that they could potentially be caught in these final stages? It's all sorts of mind games now as they look to set who's played the game of 4D chess the best with time travel mechanics. You got GB, Razin Chai, Lolanova, Alex Gillen, 2 to go, 4 cars split by 1.5 seconds. Lolanova with the fastest lap of the race, and GB all of a sudden looks at Razin Chai, who looks at Lolanova, who looks at Alex Gillen and says, with 2 to go, do you got it?
I don't think you can rule anybody out here. Lolanova struggling with the battery. Oh, almost contact through a rouge there. Alex Gillen and Lolanova almost making contact. I think Alex Gillen had to go off the track there. Did he pick up an illegal overtake potentially? Here comes Lolanova back through. I think that might have been the case, and that gives them a buffer of the front. 1.2 seconds once again. Almost contact between the chasing duo as they tried to battle their way through, and now more battling further behind. Ricky, Ryan and Dave all squabbling towards Lake Com. Dave Gaming in the Cadillac has that inside line, but GB68 might be feeling quite happy here. He's second position to start the final lap, who have that overtake mode, and he can sit back and recharge on this penultimate lap.
I'm not sure he's so safe at this moment here, Josh. I'd be worried here because Lolanova's there at 6/10. Yes, they'll spend the lap, but they'll be right there at the most important lap of them all, the final one.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see how this all plays out. Do they have the battery ready to put on a last lap battle here to try and get themselves together? Razin Chai, 7/10 of a second clear as they make their way through Stavilo. He is putting the work in on this penultimate lap to try and get himself far enough clear that they cannot even mount an attack. But GB is closing in this final stage of the lap. Down towards the chicane we go, and that gap has come from 0.8 of a second down to under 3, maybe even under 2. Is there a chance into the bus stop chicane? Looks like he's going to sit behind, take the overtake mode to start the final lap of this race. 7 kilometers left to go. Who is going to come out on top here in Spa?
Well, this could go any one of 4 ways here. Razin, GB, Lolanova, Alex Gillen. Here comes Lolanova. Watch out, because Alex Gillen to the inside of last source realises he's got to go aggro and now looks for it. Oh, there's contact. And does the end plate fall off there on the right-hand side of Lolanova's wing? And that could be huge here for Lolanova's chances. Look at the understeer he's got to deal with. Suddenly we're down to 3 in terms of this battle. Now it's going to be GB looking for this move. Razin Chai forces his way to the inside. GB goes to the front and says it's mine, but it's not done yet because there's a long way yet to go. Razin Chai trying to get a drive out of Malmedy. Can he find an angle at Brussels? Half the fence offered as they'll now dive down the hill. Alex Gillen, though, still lurking at 4.5 tenths of a second. Now they'll move to the speaker's corner. Half a lap to go here at Spa, and still anybody's. If they all come together, Lolanova's still there. Half a wing and all. Oh, Gillen! Big move to the inside. Pushes off wide. Razin Chai, and Chai holds on. He holds on. And my, oh my, are we still in here? Yellow's out in sector 2, but we don't care. GB still there. How are they still on the back of Aston Martin? Gillen forces a way through. Contact as they go by. Has that given the gap? Half a second now to GB. Razin's off. Lolly's pushed Razin off. Now here we go. Half a second. GB, do you have enough? Do you have enough? Oh my goodness, here at Blanchemont, now making the move over, and Gillen gives it back to Lolinova on the final chicane. GB holds on, they all thought behind. He said, I am a notch above.
It was inevitable. We were going to see contact on the final lap, but GP68 wins in Spa. Lolinova second, Alex Gillen third. We still got battling further behind Dave Gaming, Ryan L83 side by side as they make their way through the final corner on the run towards the line. Dave Gaming gets it on the track, P5 for him before the penalty, but unfortunately that 10-second time penalty is there. Big crash. Williams' car, I think that was Tom 97, making contact as they came across the line. What a finish we've seen here at Spa.
An all-time classic here at the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. This one had everything, and Meraki in 16th is not going to score points, and that to me is the most surprising thing of everything that we have seen as we see him cross the line in the Mercedes. All mine. Now watch Matt 212, he pitted late for a set of soft tyres. He's trying to steal the fastest lap bonus point away here, and that could be crucial at the end of this season. Who's going to take that fastest lap as they looked across? Here comes Matt 212 coming to the line. Is he going to steal it at the 11th hour? Answers on a postcard, no.
3/10 of a second off. Lolinova will take that point. I don't believe anybody else is out there. No, everybody else still on their older tyres. So yeah, fastest lap point gonna go the way of the Cadillac here. Tuki and Sapso in towards the bus stop, battling away in the dying stages of the race as everyone makes their way to the checkered flag here. Switch back there from Sapso, trying to get the better run to the line. He'll take it anyway with the time penalties, but Tuki holds on the track. Blue Flocks picks up a 10-second penalty through the final corner for track limits. That will come home in P21, and Helades in P22. All 22 drivers make it to the checkered flag.
And that is what we call perfect as far as it goes. What a day we have seen here from many incredible drivers in terms of their effort, their output, and some truly wonderful stuff. But it's Superman's cape and all for GB, his second win of the season, and critically, it will vault him up the championship order. And for the first time this season, we do not have a DNF here in this one. So a big old result here as they all look to set and say, right, a lot to come about of this. Alex Gillen should take the championship lead. Ricciardo 3 gets driver of the day points. Lolinova with the fastest lap. Most overtakes goes Ryan L83's way. And that guy Vince is the cleanest driver and takes the bonus point on lock. But absolutely fantastic. So for the first ever time, 22 finishers in this series here of Creator Series. GB from Lolinova from Alex Gillen, with Razin Chai there in 4th and Ricciardo 3, the driver of the day, in 5th. Ryan L83 6th. Tiamat Marduk only 7th ahead of Karim 70 with Emphatic and Concept 7 making up your top 10. Tom 97 Grid Jokes, that guy Vince and Dave Gaming to 14 with Fimex, Meraki, Matt 212 and Chappers. And then your final 4, Safsho, Tuki, Helades and Blue Fox. They're making the 22 that come on into play. Josh, is that potentially the greatest Creator Series race we have seen of all time?
I think it's got to be a contender. I mean, with the strategy, so much battling throughout this race. I mean, we probably got a race worth of battling in just the opening 10 laps of the race. It was such an incredible race. The end of that race as well, 4 drivers coming together, fighting on that final lap. It's what more could we want, really?
Well, what more can you want and what more can you get? We're going to bring in Lolinova here to have a chat, P2 at the end. And let's talk about that last lap, Lolly, because you get the contact at turn 1, which damages your front wing. And then Gillen, right at the very end, decides to gift that back to you as almost a form of apology.
Ciao, guys. Very unhappy for my crash. That's why I lost like 6 seconds. 6 on 7 seconds, sorry. In the last lap, I say, okay, I just need to charge the battery. I'm so sorry to Racing, but I watched my replay and I really don't know when where I need to go. Maybe next time I try to turn directly in Hungary. So maybe I have some space.
Wow,
but anyway, GG for the Pichu.
Well, it's huge in terms of what you're looking at here in terms of this result, because you come into this championship round here, round 6, without a victory. You're 5th in the championship. You're looking to put some good points together on the board, and consistency has been the aim of the game. So how important is this for you? It's your best result of the season so far, and you're starting to now put the building blocks together.
Yeah, consistency is the key, but the wing I think is better. So maybe next time I don't need to get destroyed in other track. I try to get the consistency every time. And that's all. That's really all what I need to say. GG to GB. Maybe without the contact I can I just can catch Mr. GB. But anyway, good Pichu.
Do you think you're going to avoid that contact then over at the Hungaroring? Do you think it suits you because it's a higher downforce circuit and qualifying is going to be more important, especially with your wet pole that you were able to take today?
Yeah, I think in Hungary it's really important the quali this year and the last year. I just try to get all my... I need to go fast, bro. I need really to go fast.
Well, I think you do that very, very well, and I'm sure we'll see you go even quicker. Lolinova then crossing the line and getting himself the all-important result of 2nd place. In 3rd position here today, it's Alex Gillen, who is here with us now. And Alex, strategy completely different to almost everybody else. Only your teammate Matt and that guy Vince did something similar. What was the brainchild behind going for the hard tyres first?
Well, my stream target today is I'm making my own luck today, so I wanted to do something different. You never know if it's going to work out or not. The hards were a better race tyre than I expected, actually, but in theory they weren't a great race tyre, so I was like, okay, get them out of the way early, we'll go late on. But yeah, kind of sort of waiting for a safety car a little bit, as we often get them in Creative Series. Didn't really come. I was like, okay, all right, let's pit now and let's wait for the next one, and still didn't really come. I was like, all right, okay, let's pit then and let's see if we can go for this lead. So yeah, just rolling the dice really today, just doing something a little bit different. Plenty of tyres available at Spa, so yeah, I enjoyed that one. Good fun.
The elephant in the room, you and Tiamat Marduk at the top of Lake Coombe.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to watch it back. I know we were 3 wide. I think I went a little bit deep. Didn't leave enough room for 2 cars. I think I just in the end left enough room for 1 car, but I was very deep at that point. And then yeah, just got hit from behind, ended up kind of half spun. To be honest, I didn't really mind it too much. It was so early in the race. I don't think anyone got any damage. I wasn't angry about it. I was just like, yeah, you know, these things happen, whatever. We're all good. We survived. Let's just get on with the race. So yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but for me, not a big issue. But I think it was triggered by me going deep.
I haven't seen a driver get that aggressive on a final lap in some time. You pushed for it at turn 1 against Lolinova. You were all up in the grill of Razin Chai throughout the entirety of the middle sector, and then you give the place back to Lolinova then in the final stages. Was that predetermined after the contact at La Source, or was that just you not having any battery to fight back with? And how critical is it for you to be championship leader heading to the Hungaroring?
Yeah, I didn't intend to give it back. I just used my battery. I think the move on Lolly was okay, turn 1. I just used a bit to get alongside him and left him some room on the exit. I think that was all good, so nothing for me on that one. Yeah, with Razin, I think these guys in front were obviously trying to save as much battery as they could for the run to the final corner. I knew that if I let that happen, everyone would have the same battery and I wouldn't be able to do anything from P3. So I decided to go aggressive middle set, to use a little bit of battery. Got alongside Razin. I don't think he liked it very much, trying to kind of block me doing that, hoping I wouldn't go for it. I imagine, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm going to anyway. I imagine he thought it was a bit of a stupid move by me to go for it. But from P3, I've got to try something. From P2, he's hoping for status quo. So, yeah, just went for it. It felt like he turned in on me a little bit, but again, I haven't watched it back. And then, yeah, another spicy one later on again, where similar sort of thing. I'm just trying to go for a bit of an unorthodox move somewhere to get in, but then ultimately, with all that battling, just ran out of battery, and that allowed Lolly just to come straight back through on us. So, yeah, but enjoyable. I've got to say fair play to Ben as well, our championship leader. He was, I think, P13, P14 at one point. So looking like he was very much down on the doldrums. So to end up, I think it was P7 at the line. So fair play to him. I'm excited to watch his race back.
Yeah, so he's been able to get some points. You've got some points. He'll be very, very close in the championship then in that regard. But Alex Gillen, then 3rd place overall, and will feel very, very buoyed by the performance that has been able to get. But for a driver who'd been looking around, and I said keep an eye out on him at the beginning of this day, GB, a 2nd victory this season. And boy, did you have to work hard for it in the final laps.
Yeah, bro, it was like huge. I was just saying, huge shout out to Razin, because I'm not sure I win that race without Razin. We worked together so well. I don't think we cost each other any time really at any stage. We were so efficient with the swapping when we did. And that ultimately, Razin should have been on the podium with me. I'm gutted for him that he's not there. So, but yeah, honestly, an awesome race. I appreciate probably there were some wanting a safety car, but for me personally, with the strategy that unfolded, with you guys seeing the mediums closing in on the hards at the end, I didn't know that I was going to win that. So yeah, it was very satisfying, very good.
And how crucial was it to get that strategy to work out, considering just how much of a bloodbath the opening 10 laps of that race were, where it seemed like everyone was going for 3 or 4 moves every single lap?
Yeah, you know what it was? So I noticed people were like turning down their battery into Orouge and Radion initially. I think it might have been Lolly, but it was like really early on, like 3 laps in or something. And you were just seeing everyone bunch up and going like 3 wide. And I was like, guys, there's going to be damage or a crash if we keep doing this. So I just tried to get the lead as quick as I could and then just absolutely dump everything every lap and leave no battery to spare. And well, obviously there was a bit of contact that helped me, Razin, and I think Lolly maybe break away. But yeah, I saw that happening. We could all see it, right? There was always going to be that kind of incident. So I did not want to be anywhere near that. So yeah, right decision in the end to kind of try and stay clear of it at the start.
Crucially for you, it is your 2nd win of the season. You've missed 2 rounds, so this is your chance to really gather the points back up. Finding these victories in the early to mid stage of the season, is this setting up exactly the form book that you want heading to the Hungaroring?
Oh, I always get asked like, GB, when are you going to challenge for a championship or something? But yeah, I'm sorry to I'm sorry to burst that bubble. But I am missing the next 2 races. So yeah, it's attendance is always tricky for me. It always has been. I'd love to be able to make it for like every race in the season and be there at the ends. But look, I think I'm back in like a month's time. So we've got a break week as well on that. I don't know what the race is after Singapore, but that's my return race. So look, I'll try and go for more wins when I'm back. If Ben and Alex decide to DNF every race, then hey, maybe we're here talking about the championship at the end of the season, but I find that quite unlikely.
Well, in that case, it is a happy send-off for you until the fan vote GP comes back around. Yes. So yeah, enjoy yourself, go celebrate. What a drive at the office for GB.
Anyone listening, vote China, fan vote, vote China.
Well, it's in first. Try and get yourself in on that. GB gets the job done and says big race victory. Josh, ultimately, this is one where I think we're going to be taking a good look at the Hungaroring and saying it's going to drive completely different to what we've had here at Spa. But I don't think that's a bad thing at all. This was the Wild West. Suddenly, I think it's going to get a little bit more mild like a Washington coffee shop.
Yeah, I mean, Hungary compared to this track, you don't really have as many long straights like you do at Spa. It's a much shorter track, and you have a lot more slow speed corners, a lot more sections of the track where it's narrow and it's going to be easier to recharge. It is described as Monaco without the walls. So it's going to be harder to overtake, but I think down those straights, we are still going to be seeing plenty of action.
We absolutely are, and you can only catch it here with us on Creator Series. Some incredible action we have seen from Gareth Allen on the cameras, from Josh Richards alongside myself, Jake Sperry. Creator Series, it's where it's at. The best in the world that look to go and say, this is our game, this is our style. Go out and put on a clinic. It was the madhouse for an opening 10 laps, 20 laps of pure strategy and theatre down for the final laps of the race. Can you ever get a better Spa-Francorchamps than this? And the question now will be asked to Tiamat Marduk, did you manage to salvage enough? To Alex Gillen, did you do enough? And to those behind who are looking to chase up those points, the likes of Lolinoba, the likes of Razin Chai, they'll be turning around and going, well, looking at each other, how much did you just cost me in this race? Everything, fireworks and then some, has come along, and the old meme, of course, of Gillen and Ben coming together as well. This race had everything, and there's more to come in 7 when we see you for more over at the Hungaroring.